A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry at Fair Oaks.
Well, Mr. Randall, how do you like Fair Oaks, now that you've had a little better look at it than you did the last time?
It's great, Major, great. Couldn't want a better place to send a boy. Well, I never dreamed that this much spirit could be worked up.
Mr. Randall, it doesn't take very much to get a group of boys worked up to something like this. They take their competition seriously.
I'll bet they do. Major, seriously, what do you think of Fair Oaks' chances today?
Well, I don't like to say, Mr. Randall. I'd like to be pretty confident about the whole thing, but,
You mean, Jerry, don't you?
No, I don't mean Jerry. I have as much confidence and faith in him as you have. Since he's been here at Fair Oaks, he's proved himself to us in more ways than one. What I mean is that he's on a strange horse. He's had only one practice session on a pretty high-strung mount.
I see. There was no other horse. Huh?
We couldn't very well put a plotter out there, could we?
No, of course not. It wouldn't look so good, would it? Well...
I beg your pardon, Major Davis.
Oh, yes, orderly.
It's 10 minutes to go, sir.
Oh, yes. Mr. Randall.
Yeah?
I've got to make a little speech now. And if you wish, you may come along to the officer's box and watch the meet from there.
Well, sir, I'd like to, but I think I'll stay here with Bumps.
Well, I don't see him.
Well, I think Bumps is on a busman's holiday, Major.
A busman's holiday?
Yeah, Bumps is over there filling himself up with popcorn and strawberry pop. He never touches it on the circus grounds.
I see. Well, sorry you won't come along, Mr. Randall.
Thanks just the same, but I think I'll stay here.
Well, if you change your mind, though, come right ahead. There's always room for a couple more.
Thank you, Major, thank you.
Where's the plaque, orderly?
In the officer's box, sir.
Good.
This way, sir.
Thank you. Attention! Attention, please! Attention! Thank you. First, I want to welcome the staff and cadets of Edson Military Institute to Fair Oaks. To you, we extend the hospitality of this entire academy. It makes us feel good when in a world of trouble we two schools can get together this way, in competition that breeds no discontent or enmity, but instead instills the spirit of sportsmanship and fair play into the hearts and souls of each of us. Whichever of us loses, we lose to a better man, and we admit it without rancor, with no holding of a grudge. In my hand, I hold the symbol of that sportsmanship, the Hunter Craig Trophy. For 4 years, this trophy has been the prize in this traditional meet between Edson and Fair Oaks. Each school has won it twice. Each school has won it through hard, clean sport. The 5th year, this year, is the last year the Hunter Craig Trophy will be put up, because the winner of today's meet will keep it forever.
How do you feel, Jerry?
Well, a little like the bottom of my stomach just isn't there anymore, Lee.
Yeah, I know the feeling exactly. I've had it a few times.
Yeah? What'd you do about it?
Nothing. There's nothing to do.
Gosh, I hope that horse isn't as nervous as I am.
Oh, don't worry about the horse.
But I only had a half day's practice on him, Lee, and, well, he's not exactly the gentlest horse in the world.
Yeah, I know.
What was all that cheering for a minute ago?
Oh, Major Davis was making the opening speech.
Opening speech?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's almost time to go.
Yeah. Now listen, Jerry. Take it easy. Just remember that each cadet in Fair Oaks will be pulling for you and the rest of the team just as hard as he can.
Yeah, and each cadet at Edson will be pulling for us to lose just as hard as he can.
Well, you're not supposed to listen to their yells. Just listen to ours.
Sure, I'll plug one ear up with cotton and keep it turned to the Edson side.
That's the talk. When you can joke, you're not so badly off.
I read something once. I think it was in English class. It went something like this. No fairer day was there in all the passing ages of the earth than the day he was to die.
Well, who's going to die?
Well, maybe I'm not, but I feel like it. Lee, I'm afraid to look. Just take a peep and see if my stomach is still in its usual place.
Right where it always was.
Oh, here comes Sergeant Alden.
Uh-huh, yeah, and in dress uniform, too.
And look at the ribbons on his tunic.
Yeah, campaign ribbon.
Hello, Jerry.
Lee.
Hello, Sergeant.
What are you doing here, Lee?
Why, I just thought I'd come out and say...
Sergeant Alden, I asked Lee to stay with me until we went on the field.
Oh,
It's all right, isn't it, sir?
Well, yes, it's all right. How are you feeling, Jerry?
Just like I've never had anything to eat in my life.
A little sinking feeling, huh?
Not a little one, sir. A big one.
Well, if it's any comfort to you, all the rest of the team feel the same way.
See, Jerry, I told you.
Well, try taking a few deep breaths slowly. Exhale and see if that doesn't help.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll see you in a minute. I've got to check up a little more.
Oh, before you go, sir,
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How's Splendor, sir?
He's about the same, Jerry.
Gee.
He's getting good care, isn't he, sir?
The best. Now, don't let that affect you, Jerry. You've got one thing to think about when you get on that field. Only one horse to think about, the one you're on. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Be ready to mount when the command is given.
Yes, sir. Take a couple of deep breaths.
Huh?
I'm trying to take a couple of deep breaths, but they won't go down all the way. There's something stuck in my throat. I think it's my heart.
For the love of Mike, Jerry. You're not going out there to be shot. You're going out there to ride in a meet.
Do you think I could trade it for being shot?
Oh, look, now what's any different about doing this than doing your act in the circus?
Oh, there's a lot of difference, Lee. I can't exactly explain it, but there's plenty. I never felt this way before.
Gosh, you all...
Men, I'm not going to say anything to you. You've practiced, you've drilled until I think you're a fine team. Keep your eyes on the pivot position for lining up. If at any time you lose sight of the pivot horse, just remember that Dugan will be carrying the gold pennant. The rest will be blue.
Oh, golly.
In 3 minutes, we go out on the field. This evening, we'll put up the Hunter Craig Trophy in Custis Hall. That's the spirit. Now, toot, hands, hump. Toot, mount.
Okay, up you go, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, here I am.
And I must say, Cadet Dugan, that you're a fine sight. Or am I looking at the horse?
Hiya, Tubby.
Hi, Tubby.
Gee, the team looks swell. Here's your pennant, Jerry.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, boy, is this a grand sight. Take a look, Jerry. The horses, coat shining, and the pennants flying.
Yeah, you'll all look swell out on the field.
Hey, I wonder why the sergeant had us mount 3 minutes before time.
Oh, well, to give you a chance to calm the horses and get settled a little.
Yeah, I'll be settled in 4 or 5 days.
Oh.
What's the matter, Tubby?
Look.
Uh-oh. Comes now a large dose of poison named Red Morrison. You know, that guy's like poison ivy. He turns up all over.
Yeah, I wonder what he wants.
Oh, we'll soon find out.
Hello, Phillips. Hiya, Dugan. And Mr. Tubby Young.
Hello, Morrison.
Mr. Morrison to you, Young.
What do you want, Red?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Can a fellow cadet come out to wish his comrades a little good luck?
A little good luck is your wishing limit.
Pipe down, Phillips. What are you, the official guardian of the team?
No, I'm hitching post for the horses.
You're wiser than usual, Phillips. Someday I'll have to take a little of that out of you.
Okay. Someday when you feel very, very good, I'll play you a game of tiddlywinks. And then when you feel extra hot, well, maybe I'll take you on a checkers.
Attaboy.
Very, very smart, plead Phillips. Well, Dugan, ignoring this comedian for a minute, I came out to wish you good luck.
Huh? Oh, well, thanks, Red.
What's the matter with you, Morrison? Sick?
Yeah, sick of you. Say, Dugan,
Yeah?
Blue Comet is a little hard to handle, isn't he?
Why, no.
He looks nervous. He's got a kind of wild look in his eye. You better be careful.
Cut it out, Red.
That's what I say. What are you trying to do?
You know, it's one thing to ride a horse you're sure of, like Splendor. And it's another thing to ride a strange horse when the going gets tough. That's when to prove you're a real horseman and not just a phony. Anybody could stick on Splendor.
Yeah, if somebody didn't loosen the cinch strap.
Red, I'm warning you.
Okay, put up a red light and stand over there where I can see you. I'm talking to Dugan.
Yeah, and how? You're trying to get him nervous.
A good horseman shouldn't be nervous.
Oh, for the love of Mike, cut it out, you two.
Phillips, see what you did? You made the pivot man lose all his nerve.
Yeah, and I'm going to make you lose a couple of teeth.
He wouldn't miss him. He never smiled.
Not only smart, but tough, huh? Well,
Look, Lee, maybe you better go now. We're almost ready to start.
Sure, go ahead, Phillips. I'll stick around and keep Dugan company. Maybe I'll hold his hand and tell him a little story about pixies. Maybe I'll even rock him to sleep by singing to him. Maybe that's what he needs.
Listen, Red.
Maybe I'll get demerits for this, but it's worth it.
Hey!
Oh, why, you... I'll give you another one, too.
You can count me in on this fight, too.
Hey, I watch it. You're scaring my horse. Come on.
Stop it.
Hey, whoa, boy, whoa. Settle down.
Easy now.
Easy.
Now,
Come on,
Phillips.
sit down.
Morrison, Young,
Yes, sir.
what's this all about?
Sir, Phillips hit me for no reason at all.
You're lying. I had plenty of reason.
I hit him, too. I had reason enough.
Why, you...
Now, cut it out. I haven't had time now to go into the reasons for such a stupid thing as this. But all three of you were fighting. That's enough cause for the present for me to send you all back to your rooms.
To our rooms, sir.
Oh, gee.
You heard me. All three of you get back to your rooms and stay there. And don't stir out of them until I tell you to.
But, sir, if we go back to our rooms, we'll miss the whole meet. We won't see anything.
That's too bad. Considering that you almost ruined it for us, it's light enough punishment for the moment. Now, all three of you, I said get going.
But, sir...
Please, Sergeant.
Dugan, you're at attention.
Yes, sir.
But, sir, we can explain the whole thing.
It was no fault of mine, sir. I had to defend myself.
Is that so? Well,
Stop it! You have to be told again to get to your rooms. Now, one more word out of any one of the three of you, and you'll have more to be sorry for than just missing the meet. Now get out of here and go back to your rooms. I said a double quick time.
Yes, sir. Come on, Tubby.
Yes, sir.
I can explain, sir.
I don't want or need an explanation, Morrison. And I said don't open your mouth again. Now get going.
Yes, sir.
Oh, gee, everything has to happen now.
Jerry,
Yes, sir?
forget about this. Get your mount settled down. There isn't much time left.
Very good, sir. Whoa, boy. Settle down. Easy.
Feel better?
Yes, sir. He'll be all right.
Okay. Steady on now.
Hey, Jerry, I won't be able to see you, but, well, good luck, fella.
Thanks, Lee.
All right. Back to your stations, men. And remember,
That's it, men. Troop. Attention. Troop. Foot.
Autolite and its 98,000 dealers bring you Miss Ann Baxter in tonight's presentation of Suspense. Tonight, Autolite recreates a classic tale as, with song and story, we tell of the death of Barbara Allen, our star, Miss Ann Baxter. Huh? Oh, Oscar Otto. Sorry, I was daydreaming.
About what?
Why, about the Autolite Stay Full, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
I've got one.
Then, my speaking sedan, you've got the world's most desired, dynamic, and dependable battery. It has fiberglass retaining mats protecting every positive plate to reduce shedding and flaking. That's one of the reasons why the Autolite Stay Full gives longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards.
My owner got mine from our neighborhood Autolite battery dealer.
Friends, to quickly locate your nearest Autolite battery dealer, phone Western Union by number
and ask for Operator 25. That's me, and I'll gladly tell you where you can get an Autolite Stay Full.
the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, Autolite presents The Death of Barbara Allen, starring Miss Ann Baxter, hoping once again to keep you in suspense.
In Scarlet Town, where I was born, there was a fair maid dwelling. Made every youth cry well a day, and her name was Barbara Allen. Barbara
His voice was on the wind, calling to me, and the surf was to the west of me and to the east, and the sounds of the night sea were all around, and on the finger of strand I waited for him. Oh, my love, as he rode to me, and a star swung across the moon, and the wind rose from the night as he rode to me, as he came to me.
You wouldn't be here, Barbara Allen.
And where else would I be on such a night?
Home, perhaps, where it's warm.
Oh.
The young men of Scarlet Town to knock on your door. Not here, where the sea rises and the moon is cold.
Where I meet my love.
But there's a storm coming.
Let it.
The storm and the tides will drown this strand.
And we would drown.
Yes.
We would drown, Will. And you would live no longer than I, and I no longer than you. Our love would die at once on a storm.
Why do you talk of death?
Oh, I talk of love.
And I do. And there's no death in it.
No, Will.
Only this.
Oh, Will.
Fair Barbara Allen. Wild Barbara Allen. Ride with me.
Yes.
See, it was a swelling, and dark clouds a shadow lay on the lips of Barbara Allen. Then Willie held her oh so close, and he kissed her lips half trembling, then kissed again in fondue.
Sean's here. He's been waiting. Hello, Barbara Allen. I'll get you some tea.
No.
The pillow in back of me slid down, Barbara Allen. Fix it. Where you been?
On the Strand.
With Will.
With Will.
Sean's been waiting. You knew he was going to be here.
And sitting with your father, waiting. Doing the things you should be doing. While you meet Will on the Strand.
He can do for himself. Drink your tea, Father.
I like whiskey in it.
Here. Drink, old man.
I like whiskey in it because whiskey keeps the warm down. It's a cold house. It's a season of storm, and I have a daughter who's never home.
Father.
The warmth of my daughter is for a sailor named Will.
Father.
And my house is cold.
You'll need a pillow for his chair, Barbara Allen.
He can do for himself. He can do whatever he needs for himself. He sits there and rocks and remembers the time when he had a wife to do for him. Do everything but walk for him.
My house is cold.
Listen to him.
Barbara Allen,
Yes, Sean.
Will is a sailor
Yes.
with a small boat
Yes.
and a narrow life.
You couldn't know.
I know. And one day he'll say goodbye to you and sail a small boat. And that will be the day when the sea will throw him back to you, wrapped in kelp and drowned.
And what of you, Sean? Shopkeeper Sean. Seller of pots and fish hooks and whiskey, Sean. Should I love you, Sean?
Yes.
Cold. And what will you make of me? One like him who sits in a rocker and remembers.
You loved Will. How many others love Willie the sailor? And how many does he love?
No one.
There's a girl. You've seen her, Barbara Allen. She's new to Scarlet Town. Her name is Moya, and she drinks wine with Will. They whisper and laugh together.
Get out of here,
They
Sean.
say when Will leaves you, he goes to her.
You lie.
And if I'm not lying, if he hurts you, Barbara Allen, I'll kill him.
Get out of here, Sean.
I would. I'd kill him.
And later I could still hear my father rocking and the sounds of his remembering. For me it was a night of no sleep. I lay there in my bed and outside was fitful squalls of rain. It began and stopped and began again. Outside was surf that eddied in the rocks and mist and chirp and tangle of kelp flung against the strand. And Will's face and his words and the words of Sean. And the sudden blaze of light across my bed as the night careened against the sea. And then the night was still. Then it was morning. I got up and dressed, walked through the room where my father was, still sleeping in his chair. The beach had been pitted by the rain when I walked it. The dune grass was green and shining. The wind held down the sand against my legs. And down the curve of the beach and near the end of it, Will's boat. The sail on it to be mended. For me to mend. For Will.
Hello.
What are you doing on Will's boat?
It's where I belong now. On Will's boat. To mend his nets and the sail.
Will sent you here?
He left me here.
I know who you are. You're Moya. You wear a silk dress in the morning to mend a net. Here, this is a net. Mend it. Let me watch what you'll do with it.
He will teach me when he returns.
When did you see Will?
I saw him.
When?
When I was with him. When he told me to stay here, and today we would go sailing together.
Sailing? Where? Why?
To some place. This coast is new to me. Will wants me to know it.
What other places has he shown you?
Scarlet Town and what's around it.
You've ridden with him?
On his black horse.
Ridden the Strand? At night?
Yes.
And the ruined church at the end of it?
Yes. All of these things.
Where is Will?
We sail today. Will's in Scarlet Town. He's buying things for the sailing.
Why? And Sean's. What? Will is at Sean's. And he'll stay there. He won't stay with you.
Across the dunes, oh, she did run, the wind with her sighing. And as she ran, the more she grieved, until she burst out crying. When she came down to Scarlet Town, the street with crowd was filling. When they saw her, they stepped aside, made way for Barbara Allen.
He's in there, Barbara Allen, in Sean's place.
Why is there a crowd, Mr. Eames?
In Sean's place. Will's in there.
What happened?
I was in there. Will was buying things of Sean. Will was laughing. He broke open a bottle of wine. He made a toast.
A toast? A toast? To whom?
To the ladies all around.
To Maria?
To her.
And what happened?
There was talk. Then Will had a knife in his hand, and Sean did too.
There was a fight.
Will's in there, Papa, and he's lying on the floor. He called your name.
Hello, Will.
I'm dying, Barbara Allen.
What did you say, Will?
I'm dying.
Die.
Autolite is bringing you Miss Ann Baxter in The Death of Barbara Allen. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Starting power, all can well agree. Your best buy, by far, is an Autolite Stay-Full battery.
Right, Oscar Otto. And that's the great battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
The battery with advanced engineering design, Earl?
Right, my loquacious limousine. It's protected with fiberglass retaining mats to give longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards. Why, money just can't buy a better battery than the famous Autolite Stay Full. So, friends, see your nearest Autolite battery dealer. He services all makes of batteries. To quickly locate him, phone Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25.
That's me, and I'll gladly tell you the name of your nearest Autolite battery dealer, where you can get an Autolite Stay Full.
The battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Miss Ann Baxter in Elliot Lewis's production of The Death of Barbara Allen. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Over the body of Will. And I was not there. I walked the sands of the Scarlet Shore, and I cursed the grave that held him.
Is that you, Barbara Allen?
What do you want, old woman?
Is that you, Barbara Allen? I'm old and I can't see so good.
especially with the mist so heavy and drifting like they do.
What do you want?
Oh, give me some of the driftwood you're gathering. I'm an old woman, and when I bend for the wood, the sea snatches it from my hand.
Take what I have, there's more.
And let me walk with you and fill my apron for me.
All right.
Your Will is dead.
He's dead.
They're burying him. The whole town's there. You're not there, Barbara Allen.
And you're not there, old woman.
I buried 3 sons on that strand in the churchyard at the end of it. Never do I want to be on that strip of land again.
Nor I.
But you will. And I. Your death place is there, and mine, and all of us at Scarlet Town. The earth covers us in summer, and the sea in winter and storm. You give me that piece of wood from my apron.
Take it.
You met Will there on the strand, didn't you, Barbara Allen? It's a place of love and death. That Will was handsome.
Listen to me, old woman. Walk with me and beg my driftwood, and I'll give it to you. But don't talk to me, Will.
And why not? He died for the love of you.
For the love of me, and one called Moya, and the rest of the ladies all around.
For the love of you. I was there in Sean's place, touching the bolts and dress goods, and close. I heard what happened, all of it.
For the love of me.
Sean spoke your name lightly in a teasing way, and he leaned over with a smile and whispered a question in Will's ear. Then in Will's hand was a knife, because of what Sean had asked. You lie, old woman. It's how Will died. For the love of you, I swear it on the graves of my 3 sons who lie dead.
For the love of me. Not for the one called Moya.
Her of the silk dress who paid Will to take her sailing.
Paid him?
This I heard, too. When the toasts were drunk in Sean's place, gave him money to take her sailing. Will spoke her name lightly and laughed when he told us of it. Oh, fetch me that piece of wood there, Barbara Allen. And my apron will be full.
And then she left me, the old woman did. And for an hour, I walked the beach gathering driftwood for my house. And all the while the bell of the ruined church tolled for Will. For the death of Will. For my true love. For Will. Night came swiftly with the rain. And the moon slid behind something black in the sky. And stayed there. The sea was vast. And rolled in and broke. And the end of it was chill against my feet. Far away the file of mourners' lights as they walked homeward. And I went home, too, and made a fire. Waited till the sound of my father's returning. The funeral was over. The dead had been buried. My father asked for his tea with whiskey in it. I gave it to him. I left. I went to a place. Sean's place.
The storm outside, you're drenched.
Take my coat, Sean.
Yes.
You killed Will.
It was a fair fight.
You killed him with a knife.
In my belt.
You'll hang for it.
No, it was a fair fight. According to the law of Scarlet Town, he could have killed me. I'm alive. He's dead. No one will hang.
Oh, I'm glad. I was worried for you.
Barbara Allen.
No, wait. Tell me about it.
About what?
The fight. How you killed Will.
Will was your love, and you want to know how he died?
Will is dead, and I can't grieve. Tell me why, Sean.
I'll make you happy.
Yes. Tell me how you killed Will.
Will was a sailor, but he was clumsy with a knife. And when I drew mine, and we faced each other, and we circled, I could tell it. Heavy-footed and awkward. And when he rushed me, I stepped aside, and he fell, and everybody laughed. And I let him get up. And somehow he closed with me and cut me here on my arm.
Oh, show me. Oh, poor Sean.
We bent back over the counter, the two of us struggling. And I looked into his face, and I saw a thing. Fright. Willie the sailor was scared. And I put my hand up. Up, Barbara Allen. Oh, you should have seen it. His face when the knife went into it.
That knife? In your belt?
Yes.
I want to see it. Put it there on the table where I can look at it. Sean.
Yes?
What else will you do for me?
What?
There's a storm outside and I came to you. What will you do for me now?
Love you.
Oh.
With fine things, Barbara Allen. With silk from my shelves. Whatever you want. This one? This bolt of silk? Or this one? Or this one? Which one, Barbara Allen? Which one? They're at your feet. Whatever you want. And listen, I have these too. Mirrors. And these. Buttons of shell. And these. Combs of mother of pearl. For your hair, Barbara Allen.
Sean.
For your hair.
You will love me forever, Sean?
For as long as I live.
Tell me again.
For as long as I live.
Yes. With a knife you killed Will. I killed you.
Nothing happened, Father.
You left me alone again. Fire's gone out.
I went to Sean.
Fire's gone out.
And I killed him.
The sea spills over the churchyard. And the dead will drown. The dead in the old graves. The dead in the new graves. Will.
That's why I killed Sean, Father. Because of Will.
His grave will sink beneath the sea. The storm will wash over him.
Don't you hear what I'm saying, Father? I killed Sean.
Will is dead.
I killed Sean.
And your life is over.
Yes.
Like mine. Sit with me, Barbara Allen.
Yes. And I sat with him at his feet while he rocked. He remembered, and I remembered. And once my father got up, walked to the fire and threw on wood, sat down again, rocked, and I remembered. Will, the grief came with the tears. Will, the tears. His grave would sink beneath the sea.
I'll make your bed, Barbara Allen.
All right.
See, you killed Sean.
I did.
Look through the window.
Oh, a light.
The people from Scarlet Town are coming after you.
Oh, they'll hang me for what I did.
Your love lies on the strand. He sleeps on the strand. Your love is lovely.
My love was, where Will was, down to the beach, onto the strand, and they followed me. The lights of the people from Scarlet Town, and their voices on the howling wind. And I ran down the strand where the black sea was covering it, and they followed me. Their voices, and the bell on the wind, and their voices on the wind. Ran, and fell, and ran again, where my love lay lonely. The will in his grave. In the churchyard I found him. And no longer was he lonely.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Miss Ann Baxter, will return in just a moment. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, the world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. They are members of the Autolite family, as well as are the 98,000 Autolite distributors and dealers in the United States and thousands more in Canada and throughout the world. Our family also includes the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast, as well as the 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite. Every Autolite product is backed by constant research and precision built to the highest standards of quality and performance. So remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now we bring back to our suspense microphone Miss Ann Baxter. Miss Baxter, we of Autolite would like to thank you for another magnificent performance and to announce to our listeners that you have won the first annual Golden Mike Award for the best feminine performance of the past year on Suspense. And here, Ann, is your handsome Golden Mike to add to the Baxter trophy case.
Thank you, Harlow. It's beautiful. And thanks to Autolite. I'd also like to thank the wonderful group of suspense players who worked with me, especially Joseph Kearns and Jeanette Nolan, who have also won Golden Mike for the best supporting performances on Suspense. Thank you for all of us, and good night.
Next week, a story that will prove once again that truth is stranger than fiction. Mr. Cornell Wilde will star as a man who inadvertently was hired to be an assassin. The story is called Alan in Wonderland and will be heard on Suspense.
Mutual presents Art Oboler's plays. The Mutual Broadcasting System has the pleasure of presenting the 22nd broadcast of a special 26-week series of plays by radio playwright Art Oboler. In this series, we hope to bring you dramas full of the excitement of a meaningless play told in relation to the expanding world in which we live. Tonight's play will be introduced by Art Oboler. A few weeks ago, we did a play about big shots, feminine big shots. Immediately, the mail began to come in.
What about the men? What about the men? What about the men?
Yes. What about we men who have inherited this age? So tonight, in answer, may I present a gallery of big shots. Masculine big shots. A gallery of big stars. Portrait number 1, Wolf. Variety, Hollywood.
Attention, everybody. Attention. Now, quiet, everybody. Everybody pay attention and get your instructions right. And we'll get this right on the first page. At the first whistle, you black knights charge over the moat. At the second whistle, you defending knights come rushing out of your hiding place and attack the black knight. And I mean attack. Make it look real. Stuntmen. You all know your cues. The minute the general fighting starts, go into action. Don't worry about what you say. This is going to be a silent shot, and we're going to dub the sound in later. All right. Put the odds. Put the odds. All ready, Mr. Carter. Roll them. Roll them. Roll. Speed. Action.
Hey, what's wrong now? Oh, we gotta fix the lights or something. Oh, these things take so hard. We're gonna get it over with. Relax. Hey, Charlie, go on. Finish your shot, huh? Well, after all, but don't say, come on, do it. All right, boys, all right. So I said to her, all right, beautiful. Let's forget the whole thing. Before she can say anything, I'm out of the door and in my car and on my way. Oh, brother, what a technique. Okay. Come on. When I get to my apartment, the telephone is ringing. Come on back, she says. Wait a minute. Oh, brother. Well, not now, boys. The man wants to make moving pictures. All right, Charlie, all right. Come on. Now, I'll get this on with place. There you are. All right, come on, let's go. I'll go over there. He's waiting at the door. He looks as if he's been crying. Is that good? That's good, the man says. Well, I mean, I don't know. Oh, I'll go in. Now, she's in a negligee. They set her back $100 if they set her back a nickel. She takes one look at me and she says, oh, come on. Tell me more. I took her, sort of reserved like, you know, that Ronnie Coleman stuff. And she says, no, Charlie. Go on. Now, you see, the man says it could be a mistake. Later, boys. Ready, everyone. Rolling. Keep your places. You gotta make a few more days. Okay, Charlie. So you're in the house. Oh, what happened there? Come on, Charlie. Come on. Finish it. Who's got a cigarette? Oh, here, Charlie. Here. Thank you. Light? Here. Come on. Okay. So I was in the living room. What a place. Like that set in Philadelphia stores. Terrific. Thick rugs on the floor. Overstuffed furniture. So I take her in my arms. Yes. And she looks in my eyes and she says, is this real, Charlie? So I looked her right back in the eyes and I said, beautiful? If it isn't, then the real thing never was. What a lie. I'm not sorry. Yeah. Oh, Charlie, Jim, be crazy. Oh, boys, if you buy me my lunch, maybe I'll pay.
That's all it takes. Now go to it as if you really meant it, boys. Let's go. You're holy knights in armor, fighting for your honor.
A gallery of big shots. Force-up number 2, clean-up man.
Fred.
Yeah?
It's on the table, waiting.
All right.
I'm going to call you again.
What else do? I'm hungry. Oh, what a day. Going to sleep. Okay. I'm telling you, if I have another day like today, well, I said it to Mr. Harrison. I said, Mr. Harrison, if I have another day like today, I don't know what I'm going to do. You stop it?
It's under your nose. Well, what happened?
What happened? Well, get to work this morning, Mr. Harrison calls me in his office. Fred, he says, this is going to be a big day. We're going to get the final draft ready, he says. So I said, somebody complaining about those windows again? And he says, now stop fooling, sir. Quit your watching. He says, get everything in that place in ship-shape order today of all days. It isn't often we're privileged to see a charter where the peace of the whole world comes to birth right before our eyes. Well, that gets me a little sore because, my gosh, I've been working my head off, so I said, Mr. Harrison, with the kind of help I've been getting, I can't guarantee a thing. I'm head of the maintenance department, not a Hebrew magician, and I turns and I goes. What else do you got to eat?
I made a nice pot roast. Finish the soup.
Yeah. Finish. Yeah? I go down to my office and I call all the fellows in and I say, look, today's going to be a big day. They're getting ready to vote on it and sign it and go home. So I want to see the ashtrays empty. I don't want to see any paper lying around. When these guys get back to London and Arabia and Australia and Russia, I don't want them to be able to say one word against my department. Do you get it?
I'll share the song.
Okay.
Yes. So what happened?
They did. So the minute meeting starts, I know I'm in for trouble. Gallery still, reporters, radio, everybody with pencils, everybody with papers, scribbling notes, passing notes. Well, God see, I say to myself, I'm in for trouble. I get on the phone quick. I call up 5 extra men. You're the devil with the budget, I say. We're going to have enough janitors on the floor to keep it clean, or I'm not the manager of maintenance department. Get on here in a hurry, I says to the extra men. We're going to keep it clean.
Eat your roast.
Then the speeches again. First fellow up to address the meeting is from the Secretary of State. Fine-looking fellow, neat as a pin. I says to myself, if he only keeps his papers on the table and sets a good example, I'm in. But does he?
Have some bread?
I got that. He finished the first piece of his speech and throws it on the floor. Great Godfrey, I'm mad. How in the name of the incinerator do they expect a man to keep the hall clean if they throw papers down? He finishes the next page and throws it down. All over the hall, I see everybody throwing papers down. The next speaker gets up. He reads the page. He throws it down. Reporters throwing down papers. Radio broadcasters throwing down papers. Another speaker. More papers on the floor. The Russian speaker. Russian papers. The Chinese speaker. Chinese papers. My men are running up and down the aisles like bird dogs, and me standing back at the podium showing where to go. Faster and faster. The meeting's almost over. We're doing all right. We're keeping the place clean. When all at once, it happens. Why?
Oh, tell me more.
I guess they're sort of reserved like, you know, that Ronnie Coleman stuff. And she says, no, Charlie.
I'm 11. Oh. All right. Take your places.
Go on, Charlie. Go on. Yes?
All right. This is the place.
Now, you see, the man says this will be a take. Later, boys.
Oh. Ready, everyone. Quiet. Quiet. Roll 'em. Rolling. Speak. Action. All right, save it, boys. Save the ark. Keep your places. Keep your places. We've got to make a few more takes.
Okay, Charlie. So you were in the house. So, what happened? Yeah, come on, Charlie. Come on, finish it.
Who's got a cigarette?
Oh, here, Charlie, here.
Thank you. Light?
Here.
The light.
Oh, come on.
Okay. So I was in the living room.
Yeah?
What a place. Like that set in Philadelphia Story. Terrific. Thick rugs on the floor. Overstuffed furniture.
Yeah, tell us about that overstuffed furniture, Charlie.
So I take her in my arms.
Yeah.
And she looks in my eyes and she says, "Is this real, Charlie?"
Oh, is this real, Charlie?
So I looked her right back in the eyes and I said, "Beautiful? If it isn't, then the real thing never was."
What a lie.
And then what, Charlie?
That's our Charlie.
Oh, Charlie, give details.
Yeah, come on, Charlie.
Well, boys, if you buy me my lunch, maybe I'll take it.
One more take. Now go to it as if you really meant it, boys. Let's go. You're holy knights in armor, fighting for your honor.
A gallery of big shots. Portrait number 2, Clean-Up Man.
Fred,
Yeah?
it's on the table waiting.
All right.
Ain't going to call you again.
Won't have to. I'm hungry. What a day. Kind of soup.
Bean.
Okay. I'm telling you, if I have another day like today... Oh, I said it to Mr. Harrison. I said, Mr. Harrison, if I have another day like today, I don't know what I'm going to do. Crackers?
It's under your nose. Well, what happened?
What happened? Well, I get to work this morning. Mr. Harrison calls me in his office. Fred, he says, this is going to be a big day. We're going to get the final draft ready, he says. So I said, somebody complaining about those windows again? And he says, now stop fooling, Fred, which I wasn't. He says, get everything in that place in ship-shape order today of all days. It isn't often we're privileged to see a charter for the peace of the whole world come to birth right before our eyes. Well, that gets me a little sore because, my gosh, I've been working my head off, so I says, Mr. Harrison, with the kind of help I've been getting, I can't guarantee a thing. I'm head of the maintenance department, not a Houdini magician, and I turns and I goes. What else we got to eat?
I made nice pot rolls. Finish your soup.
Yeah. Finished. Well, I go down to my office and I call all the fellas in and I say, look, today's going to be a big day. They're getting ready to vote on it and sign it and go home. So I want to see the ashtrays empty. I don't want to see any paper lying around. When these guys get back to London and Arabia and Australia and Russia, I don't want them to be able to say one word against my department. Do you get it?
Oh, I sure was telling them.
Okay.
Well, so what happened?
Very good. So the minute the meeting starts, I know I'm in for trouble. Galleries filled, reporters, radio, everybody with pencils, everybody with papers, scribbling notes, passing notes. Thank Godfrey, I say to myself, I'm in for trouble. I get on the phone quick. I call up 5 extra men. To the devil with the budget, I say. We're going to have enough janitors on the floor to keep it clean, or I'm not the manager of maintenance department. Get down here in a hurry, I says to the extra men. We're going to keep it clean.
Eat your roast.
Mm-hmm. My meeting, then the speeches began. First fellow up to address the meeting is from the Secretary of State. Fine-looking fellow, neat as a pin. And I says to myself, if he only keeps his papers on the table and sets a good example, I'm in. But does he?
Have some bread?
I got bread. He finished the first piece of his speech and throws it on the floor. Great Godfrey, I'm mad. How in the name of the incinerator do they expect a man to keep the hall clean if they throw papers down? He finishes the next page and throws it down. All over the hall, I see everybody throwing papers down. The next speaker gets up. He reads a page. He throws it down. Reporters throwing down papers. Radio broadcasters throwing down papers. Another speaker. More papers on the floor. The Russian speaker. Russian papers. The Chinese speaker. Chinese papers. My men are running up and down the aisles like bird dogs with me standing back at the podium showing where to go.
faster and faster. The meeting's almost over. We're doing all right. We're keeping the place clean. When all at once, it happens.
What?
Somebody yells out, "They've surrendered." By Godfrey, in a minute, newsboys start running up and down the floor. I signal my men to stop them. It's no use. In a minute, the whole floor is full of newspapers. People reading them, throwing them up. Somebody comes in yelling, saying, "It's a false rumor. They ain't surrendered." But it's no use. The hall's waist deep in paper. I waved my men to quit, retreat. And what's the use? Only thing left to do is to save their strength until tomorrow.
Want a 2-6?
No, I got it out. Thank Godfrey, what a day.
Are they going to have another session tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Sure. Last session. They're supposed to sign the charter or whatever it is, and then I'll go home. Blueprint for the future, the fella said. I got one question. Do they have to throw the blueprint on my floor?
A gallery of big shots. Portrait number 3, Literature.
My dear, there's nothing like a literary cocktail party for bad martinis. Come on, let's get out of here.
Too bad Walker isn't alive this afternoon. He would have adored this coffee clutch. Simply adored it.
No, of course not. The publication date is tomorrow. I'm
Meet
sure
the
it's
author?
tomorrow.
Of course not. Since when is it necessary to attend a literary cocktail party and meet the author? That blonde. That's who I want.
How should I know what the title is? I only sell them. I don't have to read them. It's the usual sort of thing. Best collected. Something or other of 1945. You know. Oh, he certainly does bring the right people out, doesn't he? Every critic in New York. I think they belong to the same lodge.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He's going to make a speech. This I have to do.
Dear friends and drinkers, if you please.
Thank you. Dear friends and fellow treaders in the vineyards of literature. Frankly, behind this smiling face you see an unhappy man. Yes, unhappy at the thought that here on such a lovely New York afternoon, I've taken you away from your work and your wives or your proteges and brought you here through the device of friendship, hors d'oeuvres, and free cigars. Seriously, as the man says, I believe my latest work serves an important function. Reconstructing or revitalizing, as it does, so to speak, the great humor of yesterday so that it can become part of the heritage of tomorrow. Yes, it's only through this continuity of literary endeavor that the mind of the past becomes one with the world mind of today. Yes, if my book serves this function, then truly the great mass of work put into it, the work of deletions and reconstruction and of original reorganization, has been, well, worthwhile. And from my heart, I thank you for being here today, and even though when you read it you may not like my latest work, I like you very much. Thank you.
Really, Alec, I don't see how you do it. I really don't. So much work.
Well,
Alec, we've been having the most violent discussion, Charles and I. Is the title of this new book Best Fish Stories of History or The Tallest Fish Stories of History?
it's the latter title, don't you like?
Oh, I do. It's very intriguing.
I'll repeat again, Alec, I don't see how you do it. Running a huge literary business and on top of that turning out so many books. What has it been in the last few years? Has it been 3 or 4?
Well, let me see. In 1941, yes, it was in 1941, they started the war, simply ruined the sale of books for a while. I did the book Horse Laughs of History. In 1942, I did Collected Tales of Personal Passion, the book launch choice of the month, you remember. And in 1943, I did Best Collected Pat and Mike Stories of Antiquity. That was the mail-order book of the month choice, sold 150,000 copies. But why go on? One works, one does.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Oxnard. Can I have a moment?
And you are?
My name is Nielsen. I'm new in New York, visiting farmers.
Well, how do you do? I'm sure you'll forgive me now, Mr. Nielsen. So many old friends here.
Well, wait a minute, will you? I've got to do a 1,500-word story on you for the Norton Syndicate.
Oh, the press. I beg your pardon. I do indeed.
That's okay.
Here, have a drink. A little light? soda?
Thank you.
Well, what can I tell you?
About the book, about yourself, how you became such a success.
Well, that sort of thing's always a bit embarrassing, you know. If I've made my mark in the literary world, it's been purely because I have been of service and willing to work hard. Yes. Now, Mr. Nielsen, would you believe at this present compilation of best fish stories, it took 5 girls working steadily for 2 months to gather all the material for me. It took 3 girls working 55-hour weeks for 2 months to sift the stories down to the 350 that are now in print. A total of 565 woman hours labor. Can you imagine that?
Well, what did you do?
I? Oh, my dear man, I was the instigator, the catalyst, the force which drew together all these words into a cohesive whole. Yes. I chose the typeface. I chose the format, paper, the jacket design. I attend these literary affairs, speak before women's clubs, sign endless autographs at department store book counters. Why, I do everything to bring these works to full fruition.
But, what do you write?
My dear man, do you realize my preface to this book is 500 words? It took me 3 months just to write that. I write every preface to every one of my books. I write the material on the book jacket. I even write the advertisements.
Yes, but what original material?
My dear man, yes, you are a visiting fireman. It is all original. I'll give you a case in point. My next book will be titled Best Wit and Humor Out of Charles Dickens. The humorous anecdotes, the wit, funny sayings buried deep within the musty works of Charles Dickens will be plowed out by me, modernized, brought to life. A beautiful cover, illustrations by Arnold Adams and Bill Malden. The result? I will bring Charles Dickens' work alive for millions of people. Yes, give Charles Dickens a new place in the literary sun. To speak plainly, make Charles Dickens a modern literary figure. Do I right, my dear man?
A gallery of big shots. Portrait number 4, star of stage, screen, and radio. I don't know how to make love to you anymore. I've forgotten.
Just put your arms around me.
Donna, I shouldn't. I've no right.
I love you.
We'll be unhappy.
I love you.
We'll have so little.
Each other.
Donna, no, I couldn't.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Hold it, fellas. Hold it.
Mr. Director, you behind that glass. Would you come out here, please?
I'll be right out, Mr. Harvest.
You'd better be. Gods, I never heard such a thing.
What is it, Mr. Harvest? What's wrong?
Mr. Fleer, I'm going to ask you one question. How much experience have you had in cinema, radio, and theater?
Well, I've been in radio ever since I got out of school.
Out of school, exactly. My dear boy, I have been in stage, radio, and screen for 20 years. For 20 years, an American, no, an international institution.
But what is...
Will you let me finish? I have been sitting here patiently for the last few hours listening to this abomination that you call a radio broadcast. I have tried to be patient. My patience is gone. I won't tolerate it.
Mr. Harvest, there's only 10 minutes before broadcast time.
I don't care if there's no minutes before broadcast time. I will not have my reputation mangled by such performances.
All this time you haven't said a word to indicate...
I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I'm telling you now.
But what do you want?
I want performances. I let you talk me into playing a subordinate part this week on my own show. But at least I want the person playing the role that I should be playing to give a performance. Give me that script. I'll show you what I mean. Music. Let me have the background music.
All right, boy.
All right there, Miss Hutler, Butler, whatever your name is. Get opposite me on the microphone, if you please.
Yes, Mr. Harvest.
Darling, my sweet, listen to me. I really don't know how to make love to you anymore.
Just put your arms around me.
Donna, I shouldn't. I really have no right.
I love you.
Stop the music. Stop it.
Hold it.
My dear, have you by any chance been to see any of my motion pictures?
Why, yes, Mr. Harvest.
Then would you please, as a personal favor to me, say I love you
in a manner to which my audience has become accustomed?
I'll try, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you. Music, please.
All right, boys. Getting a box 4.
No, I shouldn't. I really have no right.
I love you.
We'll be so very unhappy. Very.
I love you.
Hold the music. Hold it. Please, your line, I love you. Make it just I. And I'll take your line and go on with mine. It gives the scene more virility.
Mr. Harvest, we've only a few more minutes, and I haven't even time to...
The devil with your time. If the program runs over, that's your concern, not mine. I must have a proper performance for my supporting cast. Music.
Boys, take it to bar 7 this time. Bring up the intercom, will you? All right.
We'll be so very, very unhappy. Very. Yes, I know. I know you love me. But we'll have so little. Yes, I know you love me. Oh, Donald, listen to me. It can't be. It can't.
Hold it, boys. Hold it.
Why did you stop the music?
Mr. Harvest, I've got the music cued to the original words. If you keep changing them, I can't keep up with you.
Well, so you finally admit that you're incompetent.
Well, I said nothing of the sort.
Don't you dare talk back to me. You may have been a major in the army, but you're nothing but a stick waver to me.
Well, I won't take that kind of talk from anyone.
Do you realize who you're talking to? I am Edgar Harvest.
Well, I don't care if you're Charlie Vander. I'm telling you, I won't take that kind of talk from you.
You're only here 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Oh, in the name of heaven, what's the matter with you people? Get to your place. Get to your place. Ladies and gentlemen of the radio audience, with the greatest of pleasure, I bring you another of my weekly series of memories of great motion pictures in which I have had the honor of appearing. This is the program on which I happily and humbly, and with a thrill of discovery, bring you new, young voices and talent. Yes, this is Edgar Harvey, speaking to you from Hollywood.
Gallery of Big Shots. Final Portrait. Spanish Businessman. Good morning. How do you do? Please sit down. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to come and to see me. But you Americans are very kind people. And you have good shoulders under your head. You are smiling, huh? If my English is not so good, you'll excuse me, bitte schön, because your language I've learned only a small piece, you know. So first, here, my pass.
Senor Alfredo Lopez? Lopez?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But I'm now Spanish citizen. Auf in the Camporero, stolz in the bush. So when in Spain, why not be a Lopez, you know? I always say, wenn man eine Blume auch einen anderen Namen gibt, der Geruch bleibt immer derselbe. It's Spanish, you know? Pure Castilian Spanish.
Lopez?
I see, I feel a little bit confused. Well, it was like this. I will give you a visa to understand me. When things started going from worse to worse where I was, I had a last meeting with my business partner. At that meeting, we were deep on the tractor in the shelter, you know. But we could hear boom, 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 boom. So I said to my partner, Rudolph, Heinrich, by the way, they are these two, both of them, good Spanish citizens. Yeah, it was understanding. So I said, we is lost, our Führer, also a good Spaniard by the name of Adolfo. Very good, eh? And so now is the time to be a good businessman. Use good business logic. The main thing now is friendship with other businessmen all over the world, no? Especially the good businessmen of America. So while there's time, we'll make the necessary arrangements to transfer the business to a friendly country close by, understand? Start a factory going, and so when the day comes that all is lost, we would not have lost everything. Huh? So, here I am, Senor Lopez, at your service. I'm telling you all this dark politics. What is it to us? You are here to do business. I am here to do business. It's a logical meeting, no? We have all our own products for sale. Every one. Workmanship, absolute price. Reflux. Come. Here. I'll show you. Come this way, dear. Amazing, huh?
But the machinery, where's the money to reconstruct? Where's...
Logic. All is logic. Before the final bombing, our government too was logical. Junker wings. Shall we say the wings of Don Quixote. They're fastened to every bit of essential machinery. And with the same wings, every mark, Reichsmark, became a centavo. And I became Senor Lopez. My father used to say, wenn die Katze kommt, verstecken sich die Mäuse. The Spanish sea. Thank you. Yes. All this productivity must be to you a beautiful sight. I've always said in all the world, only the eye of a businessman is clear as the horse. Come, walk with me. You see? Also clean, efficient. We could give you such wonderful quantity prices, better than before the trouble, Name anybody else's price. We give you better than that. Of course, you must take immediate advantage of this offer. Soon you understand there will be certain arrangements, agreements. We will have nice friendly negotiations with your manufacturers and ours, and the prices will be just prices. So you better have certain people in Washington, understand, to see certain people here so that you can take advantage of the special temporary Spanish prices.
How long do you expect to stay here?
But I didn't understand. What did you say?
How long do you expect to stay here?
Here in Espanol. Oh, we expect to stay here as long as it's logical to stay here. Why shouldn't we stay here? There are over 100,000 of us. It's an advantage to everybody to have us here. As long as it's an advantage to everybody will let us stay because who can put us out under international law? That is zum Halten. So now, please, come in here. You have a fine schnaps Spanish friend. Oh, no. My mistake. Nothing there. A bit here. You come over here. This other door, I made a small mistake. I forgot to hold so many doors.
What was in that section?
What is section? It's a new word I never heard. What is it, section?
Behind that door. What?
What door? Oh, the door. You mean nothing, absolutely nothing.
But I saw several machines in there that...
What you saw, what could you see? Only a second opening and closing a door. And even if you saw it, don't believe it. What could you see?
Research apparatus.
Research? Research, of course. New products, I told you. We are businessmen.
Cyclotron. Atomic research.
Cyclotron. Atomic research. What are you saying? What are you talking about? We are chemical fabricants. We are businessmen. And if we want to do certain long-vision research in our factory with an eye for future developments of all sorts, it is our business, not yours. You have no right. There is international law. You want to drive us down to the ground again, huh? I'm a businessman. A fast businessman.
You have just heard A Gallery of Big Shots, Masculine, a new play by Arch Oboler. The cast, in the order of their appearance in the Gallery of Big Shots, were The Wolf, Elliot Lewis; Cleanup Man, Drift Barnett with Jane Morgan; Literature, Lou Merrill with Theodore Von Elf; The Star, Bill Johnstone with Sidney Miller, Kathy Lewis, and Helga Moret; Spanish Businessman, Hugo Haas; narrator, Alan Hewitt. The original music was composed and conducted by Jack Meakin. A special nod of thanks to Elliot Lewis. Next week, we will bring you the premiere performance of one of Mr. Oboler's most unusual plays. Its title, Rocket from Manhattan, an adventure story set in the year 2000, concerning another World's Fair and the first atomic-powered rocket to the moon. This will be the 23rd in a special series of plays written, produced, and directed for the Mutual Broadcasting System by Arch Oboler. Mr. Oboler's new book of radio plays and comments on radio personalities, titled Oboler Omnibus, has just been published. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, stay tuned for the program that has rated tops in popularity for a longer period of time than any other West Coast program in radio history. The Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler.
I am The Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, The Whistler's strange story. Breakaway.
Walter Stone was a big man, presenting a formidable appearance. It would seem as if he would be capable of standing up to almost anything. In some men, there's the will to do that, but in others, there's an instinct to run, to take the easy way out. And in spite of his forceful look, his seeming aggressiveness, Walter Stone was one of those. He'd settled many things in his life by running, settled them at least in his own mind, by pushing them into the background through the satisfaction of motion, escape. And now, because Walter Stone found himself in a situation from which he couldn't run, he felt trapped and fenced in. His reactions were not of reason, but of a quivering bewilderment, and every shout and cry that reached his ears added to his frustration and confusion.
Send him out, Sheriff! Send him out or we'll come in after him! Send him out!
It was like an angry tide, rising, falling, the shouting and muttering of the crowd milling around outside the jail in Weatherby, Arizona. Inside there was fear and a desperation. The fear in the heart of Walter Stone, because the crowd wanted him. The desperation in the minds of the sheriff and his deputy, because they weren't certain they could prevent the crowd from taking him. And then the tide rose to a terrifying peak, a fury that somehow had to be resolved.
Come on, let's get him! We'll teach him to hit and run. Smash the window!
We better do something, Sheriff. We're not giving up.
Yeah, I see. Better get over to the prisoner. See what we can do.
Sheriff, can't you talk to them? Explain?
Explain what, Mr. Stone? That you're sorry now? Sorry you ran down and killed one of the most beloved citizens, old Fred Weatherby?
I couldn't help it. Tell him I couldn't help it.
You could help running off, leaving Fred to die in the street.
I got rattled.
Sure. So rattled that you made it 10 times worse.
How do you mean?
Do you deny that in making your getaway you ran directly through a crosswalk full of school children?
I didn't hit any of them. I didn't.
It wasn't your fault that you didn't. It was a miracle those children managed to escape. That's what got the crowd.
They're completely out of hand, Sheriff. What do you think?
I think we're not going to be able to stop them.
Look, you can't give me up to them. You can't do that. I got my rights.
Sure, you've got your rights. So have those school children and old Fred Weatherby. How good his rights did him.
It doesn't make any difference. The important thing is what's happening now, right now.
Sure.
what's happening to you, Mr. Stone, or what's about to happen.
You going to give him up, Sheriff?
No, I'm not going to give him up. It's my duty to protect my prisoners. My sworn duty. Holly, Jim.
Yeah.
You better take Stone upstairs.
Upstairs?
Yes. And get him out a back window to the roof of the next building. Then over to the courthouse.
The courthouse?
Yes, my car's parked there. Oh, here, Jim. Here,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
There you are. Now drive him to Millburg. Have them put him in jail there.
Okay. Come on, Stone.
Oh, what if they get us?
There's a chance they won't this way. Otherwise, I can't guarantee anything.
Well?
Sure, I'm right with you.
All right. Up these stairs. Remember, stick close. Sheriff.
Yes?
Can you call ahead to Millburg, tell them we're coming?
No. The mob cut the phone wires. If they hadn't, I'd have some state troopers down here. Go on, Jim. We'll just have to take a chance all the way around.
It's terrifying, isn't it, Walter? Like a nightmare. Ever since you were caught only a few miles from the spot where you ran a man down and tried to get away. Got caught and put in jail on a hit-and-run charge. But there's more to it than that, isn't there? Yes. There's the cold, simple fact that you can't stand any heavy questioning by the police because of your past record. A record of unsavory escapades, occasional crime, and one prison term. You must escape more than that milling crowd in the street below. And almost without thinking about it, you know that you're watching for your chance, even as you and the sheriff's deputy make your way along a ledge, top to the roof of the building next door.
We'll make it, Stone. Nobody out back here.
The courthouse? It's just around the corner?
That's right. You don't have to pass the mob.
You've been a big help, Jim.
I haven't meant to be. I just follow orders. I got no stomach for hit-and-run artists.
No, I guess not.
Come on. We can drop into the alley from the fire escape here.
You mean I can drop into the alley?
Huh?
This is as far as you go, Jim. I just want the keys to the sheriff's car and your gun. Okay, Jim. Looks like you need a little more.
You're certain the deputy won't revive for a while, aren't you, Walter? Quite a while. And not without medical attention. You make your way down into the alley, dart swiftly around the corner to the courthouse where the sheriff's car is parked. But there's a girl standing there waiting for someone. You wonder what to do and decide very suddenly.
Get in the car.
What?
Get in, I said. Oh, no, you don't. I'm not yelling for anybody. Now get in or I'll drag you in. Nobody's telling the sheriff I drove off alone, sister, not even you. So you're going to ride for a few miles. Come on. That's better. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. The sheriff's car. Nobody will stop it. You just keep quiet, sister, and everything will be all right. For both of us.
If you're like most drivers, balmy spring days such as we have at this time of year make you want to head your car for the open highway and go somewhere. And going places just naturally makes you more concerned about gasoline mileage, the thing Signal gasoline is famous for. Mileage, in fact, has been one of the principal reasons for Signal's amazing growth in popularity. From a small start in Southern California, Signal's popularity has grown and grown. Until today, Signal stations serve 7 Pacific Coast states from Canada to Mexico. And wherever Signal is sold, it is known as the Go Farther gasoline. But mileage, mind you, is just one of the benefits you notice when you switch to Signal. After all, to give you such good mileage, Signal gasoline has to help your engine run more efficiently. And when your engine runs more efficiently, you also enjoy peppy pickup, smooth power, the things that make driving more fun. That's why motorists with a zest for driving pleasure, as well as those who appreciate economy, are both enthusiastic about Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline.
pressure has eased momentarily, hasn't it, Walter? The dread, dulling fear that encircled your heart and mind back in the tiny jail. It's gone. And the shouts of the angry, determined crowd are gone, too. And there's only an open highway ahead of you, and the almost certain prospect of escape. The sheriff's car will help, won't it? Because until they find his deputy on the roof of that building, find him and revive him, you're certain that no one will know you're driving the car yourself. You let up on the accelerator now, glance at the terrified girl beside you. She's very quiet, isn't she, Walter? Almost numb with fear.
I guess you wonder what I'm going to do with you. You got yourself into this, you know. Couldn't leave any witnesses back there.
You have a witness. Anyone who does a thing as terrible as you did always has a witness.
Look, don't start preaching.
They'll catch you. You must know that.
What were you doing at the courthouse?
Waiting for the sheriff. I wanted to talk to him about Uncle Fred.
Who's he?
Fred Weatherby. The man you ran down, killed in the street.
Your uncle?
I'm Doris Weatherby. My Uncle Fred was one of the kindest, most beloved men in the town. He's been county road commissioner for years.
Listen, I couldn't help it. I didn't see him step out.
They said you drove off. Why?
I had my reasons.
No one could have good enough reasons to do a thing like that. They said if you'd helped him, call the doctor right away.
Train, you gotta stop.
You do stop for something, don't you? Where your own life is involved.
Forget it.
I feel sorry for you in a way, Mr. Stone. Such a big man. In appearance, I mean. But so small, so very, very small inside.
Forget it, I said. Stop talking like that.
All right, Mr. Stone, because you really might hit me instead of running. Mr. Stone, look.
Huh?
Over there, police.
Police? Where? Here. What are you doing? Come back here. Why, you little fool.
The girl leaped from the car so suddenly that it leaves you helpless, doesn't it, Walter? You weren't even watching her because of her remark about the police. And of course there were none. Just a trick. But you must catch her, Walter. You're not far enough away from the town, are you? And if Doris reaches the sheriff, talks to him, you'll have to abandon his car immediately. You jump out, race down the railroad tracks in pursuit. But it's no use. You stop and listen for her, peering into the darkness, wondering what to do. The fear is starting again, isn't it, Walter? You're confused and trembling as you head back and stop just in time to see a pair of highway patrolmen looking over the car. You're so close you can hear their voices.
Sheriff's car from Weatherby.
Funny he'd leave it here. It's so close to the railroad tracks.
Well, maybe he's around here somewhere, Dave. Maybe he's... Hey!
What's wrong?
Somebody hiding out there. You see in the field. Come out of there, you!
Not a chance.
Come on, after him, Dave!
You cut across the field, running a zigzag course, the shots of the highway patrolmen whistling over your head. And then you can hear them coming after you. You wonder if you can go on, don't you, Walter? If perhaps you shouldn't give up. But somehow you don't. Somehow you summon the strength to outdistance them. Make your way down a shallow creek bed. Stumble into a growth of underbrush and huddle there quietly, almost afraid to breathe. You hear the two patrolmen coming towards you.
Afraid so.
What if we wing him?
I didn't. I was firing over his head.
I wish we knew what it was all about. Whoever he was, he must have been driving the sheriff's car.
Beats me.
Yeah. Let's go back. We'll call in a report.
Right. Like looking for a needle in a haystack.
It was close, wasn't it, Walter? And you wonder what you're going to do now. For one thing, you remain hidden for at least another 20 minutes. Finally move out of the creek. And then through the trees, you catch sight of a light in a farmhouse. Cautiously make your way up to the front door.
Who's there? That you, Hank?
Look, mister, my name's Edwards. Ran out of gas. Have to get to the next town. My wife's sick.
Oh, I'm Jess Jensen. Out of gas, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Quiet! Skip back in your house! Now, let's see. You say you're out of gas, huh?
That's right.
Well, I got a drum of gasoline out in the garage. I'll fill up a can for you, young fella. Yes, I can do that.
You, have a car?
Yeah. Oh, you mean you'd like me to drive you back to yours?
Yeah.
Well, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Wait here, young fella. I'll go get the keys.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
It's a break, isn't it, Walter? Finding a man as cooperative as Jess Jensen. And your hand tightens around the gun you hold in your coat pocket. But you don't want any noise, do you? Awaken the others in the house. So you wait for him to come down and follow him out to the garage. You decide to maneuver into position, get behind him, and bring the gun butt down on his head hard. You're sure it will be as simple as that. And then you can get away in his car. You watch for an opening. He's a big man, isn't he, Walter? And you know you can't afford to miss.
Well, I think this container will do it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Enough gas to get you to the next town. There's a couple stations there.
Okay.
How about a hand? Here, hold it while I tip the drum over. Well, here, take it.
Yeah.
You new around these parts?
No, just traveling through.
Okay, here we go. Move over a little, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Hold that can up a bit. That's it. Easy now, easy she goes. Oh, that does it. Sort of spilled over a little, didn't it? Get any on you?
No.
Okay. There we are. How far down the road you say you were?
A couple of miles, I guess.
Well, I'll be with you in a second as soon as I mop this gas up. I don't like to leave it like that.
It's the opportunity you've been waiting for, isn't it, Walter? You watch him as he picks up a rag, and he kneels, his back to you. You move slowly toward him. Then as you bring the gun out of your pocket...
Drop it, Mr. Stone.
What?
Drop it, I said.
Hey, what's going on here? What's the idea?
The idea, Mr. Jensen, is you're about to help an escaped prisoner.
Escaped prisoner? What? Hey, that's my gun you got there.
That's right. I was just coming into your yard when I saw the two of you leaving the house. I've lived in these Arizona parts long enough to know there's usually a shotgun behind every ranch kitchen door.
Say, I seen you somewheres before, ain't I?
I'm Doris Weatherby, stenographer in the county assessor's office.
That's right, sure. Here, well, let me have that gun.
With pleasure.
Thanks. All right, now then, what's this all about?
That man, his name is Walter Stone. He escaped from the jail back in Weatherby.
Did he?
That's ridiculous. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Here, give me that gun. What were you aiming to do with this 45, young fella, when my back was turned, huh?
Look, you got this all wrong.
I don't think so.
Do you have a phone, Mr. Jensen?
Nope, I guess we'll just have to take him back to town and pick up here. You drive, miss?
Yes, of course.
All right, get going, Stone.
Okay, you win. I don't suppose the condemned man could have a cigarette.
I never use them.
I've got some. Here. Keep the pack.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, sweetheart. I'm eternally grateful.
Yes, very grateful, aren't you, Walter? The idea occurs to you suddenly, doesn't it? As your gaze wandered to the gas spilled on the floor of the garage. It's a gamble, isn't it? But well worth the try. You light the cigarette. And then as you inhale deeply, you flip the match toward the gas-soaked rag on the floor. A sudden rush of air, a bright blue flame, startles Jess, and he turns. You reach out, knock the shotgun from his hands, and race for the door.
Come back, Stone! You won't get away! Stop! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop!
But you know that Jess isn't going to shoot right away, don't you, Walter? With your gun and his lying on the floor and the fire rising rapidly. Over your shoulder, you can see Doris helping him try to battle the flames. And then you lose sight of them through the trees.
Good evening.
You the doc?
Why, yes, I'm Dr. Summers.
Okay, inside.
Now, see here. What
I don't want any trouble, see? You're a little guy and your bones won't stand any rough stuff, so play it smart. Do as I say and you won't get hurt.
You're Walter Stone, aren't you? The radio...
Yeah, that's right. Skip the lecture.
What is it you want?
I've got a couple of bad cuts from a barbed wire fence. Patch me up. Now, take your car keys.
My car.
That is yours, isn't it? Parked alongside the house?
Yes. Don't be a fool. He won't get away.
Sure I will, Doc, and you're going to help me. Pick up that telephone. Pick it up, I said.
I'm not afraid of you, Stone. You might as well take your hand out of your pocket. I don't think you have a gun now.
Pretty smart, aren't you? Maybe I can find something to persuade you. What's in this cabinet?
Be careful. Be careful, those test tubes.
What's in them, Doc?
I've been making some experiments.
What kind of experiments?
You wouldn't understand.
Important?
When people's lives are at stake, I would consider...
Sure, Doc. Look, with a sweep of my hand, I can...
No, don't.
Take up the phone.
All right.
Call the police.
The police?
You see, Doc, I'm figuring on heading south. The Mexican border isn't far away.
I don't understand.
You call the cops. Tell them you just came from a farmhouse 20 miles north of here. You treated a man for a bullet wound. Didn't like the story he told you. You think he's Walter Stone. Get the picture?
Yes. Yes, I get the picture.
All right, the phone. Take care of it.
Operator, this is Dr. Summers. Would you connect me with the police?
Say it's an emergency.
It's an emergency. Thank you.
Come on, act excited now. They gotta believe you. And no tricks.
No tricks.
Just think of those test tubes, Doc. I wouldn't hesitate, you know.
I know. Hello? Sergeant, this is Dr. Summers out on Turner Road. That's right. I want to report something.
Suspicious character.
A suspicious character? Yes. Yes, a man I was forced to treat for a bullet wound. He...
Go on, tell him.
He told me a strange story. I think he might be that man they were talking about on the radio. Walter Stone. The one who killed Fred Weatherby?
That's a ticket.
What? Oh, yes, Sergeant. He's hiding in the old Wilson farmhouse, about 20 miles north of here. Good.
All right, Doc. Now, let's see. You got a basement here?
Yes.
Show me. Down the stairs.
But
Down the stairs! Oh, don't worry. Just going to tie you up, Doc. See, I can't have you getting back on that phone the second I leave, or holler at me.
Do you really expect to get away with this?
Your car's almost as good as the sheriff's, maybe better. I'll stick to the back roads.
Look, I wouldn't...
Wouldn't what, Doc?
I wouldn't keep running. That's all.
Running? I'll decide that. I'm the only one who decides whether I run or not.
As you leave Dr. Summers bound and gagged in the basement of his home, it doesn't seem possible that only a few hours have passed since you heard the angry crowd outside the jail, following your arrest for running down and then leaving old Fred Weatherby. You slip behind the wheel of Dr. Summers' car and head south. The road to Mexico is open. You're certain of that, aren't you, Walter? Yes, because you know at this moment the police cars in the area are converging on a farmhouse 20 miles to the north. A few minutes after you leave the doctor's house, you turn off the main highway into a side road. Presently, pull up at a gas station.
Evening, sir. Fill her up?
Yeah, might as well. Almost empty.
Good thing you stopped. There isn't another station between here and the border.
How far is it to the border?
Oh, about 30 miles. Let you take the shortcut.
Oh?
Yeah, knocks off about 5 miles. Cops again. They sure been busy tonight. Looking for somebody, I guess.
Seem to be in an awful hurry.
Heading north. You did say fill her up, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Good thing, too, that you got here when you did. I was just about ready to close up and go home.
Yeah. I guess I'm pretty lucky, huh?
That you are, mister. That you are.
two things you want to make sure of when you buy a new battery for your car are, one, power. Plenty of power for quick starting, plus the many electrical needs of your car. And two, long life, so you won't have the expense of buying another battery soon. Well, tonight I want to tell you why, for power and economical long life, you just can't beat today's new Signal Deluxe battery. First of all, improved microporous rubber separators allow freer flow of acid between the plates, yet are impervious to the action of the acid. Result, Signal Deluxe batteries deliver up to 35% more power. Secondly, Signal Deluxe batteries are guaranteed not just for the usual 12 or 18 months, but for a full 30 months on a service basis. That makes the cost per month so low, you're actually saving money while you're enjoying the extra power and dependability of a Signal Deluxe battery. So before you buy any battery, get your Signal dealer's trade-in offer for your old battery. Find out his convenient credit terms. Prove for yourself that today's smartest battery buy is today's finest battery. The new, improved Signal Deluxe battery at Signal service stations.
In the glare of the spotlights from the ambulance and police cars on the road above, the sheriff made his way down the steep embankment to the wrecked auto in the ravine. He examined the still figure in the car, talked briefly with the ambulance doctor, then turned away and walked to where another man was standing.
You the fellow that put in the call?
Yeah. Me and my partner run the Signal gas station down the road.
Did you see this happen?
Nope, but I must have come by right afterwards. On my way home, I spotted the busted guardrail and stopped. I saw the wrecked car here.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing, the dead man stopped at our station and asked me how far it was to the border.
His name was Walter Stone. He was still alive when you found him?
Yeah. The ambulance driver over there said Stone would have come out of it okay if I'd reached Dr. Summers in time.
Couldn't get it?
Nope, I phoned him, but he didn't get any answers. Guess he must have been tied up somewhere, huh?
Well, it isn't hard to figure out how this happened. The road being shaped then. Stone must have been going along at a good clip. Smacked into the rocks and dirt up there.
If I'd known the landslide hadn't been cleared off, I could have warned him. I saw the landslide pileup early this afternoon, called the road commissioner's office. They said they'd send a crew out.
The road commissioner? Who'd you talk to?
Why, Fred Weatherby, of course. He's the county road commissioner.
You haven't heard about Fred, then?
What do you mean?
I guess you never got to tell that road crew to come out here. You see, old Fred Weatherby was killed in town this afternoon. Hit-and-run driver. This dead man here in the car, Walter Stone, is the man that hit him.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at this same time. Because this month marks the 50th anniversary of the American Automobile Association, Signal Oil Company is happy tonight to congratulate the AAA and its 3.5 million members. For the splendid job this worthy organization has done, not only in promoting driving pleasure, but also driving courtesy and driving safety. Everyone who uses America's streets and highways, whether it be for driving, riding, or walking, can be thankful there's a AAA. Featured in tonight's story were Bill Foreman as the Whistler, Raymond Burr, Elizabeth Root, Bill Boucher, Harley Bear, Britt Wood, and Herbert Litton. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Adrian John Doe, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Remember to tune in at the same time next Sunday, when the Signal Oil Company will bring you another strange story by The Whistler. Marvin Miller speaking for the Signal Oil Company. Stay tuned now for Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Receipt for payment for 10 gallons of gasoline. Familiar object you've had it many times yourself if you drive a car, but this particular receipt.
Your receipt, Inspector. Tanks full, oil and water fine.
Thank you. Quite a receipt you hand out.
My partner's idea. He likes it.
Look at this, Sergeant. Stamped with a gallows, complete with corpse, and marked settled. Rather appropriate, eh?
Well, today, as I told you, this receipt lies in its proper place, an honored place, in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum.
Here we are, the Black Museum. Scotland Yard's museum, a museum of murder. Here lies death, arranged in glass cases, lined along the shelves on the tables, larger objects standing on the floor. Well, there's an old-fashioned trunk. Nothing in this trunk but some old clothes. The clothes led to a furnace. The things in the furnace led a man to the gallows. There's a teacup, its saucer. Charming, graceful, real bone china. But the contents were deadly. Here we are. Here's the receipt I told you about. Settled, it says. Paid in full. 10 gallons of gas. From the evidence, Police Constable Matthews had anything but murder on his mind that very early morning, an hour before dawn, as he patrolled a quiet country road near his home in Essex.
Summer must be almost over. Cold this time of morning. Not even false dawn yet. Nights are getting longer. Pleasant enough this tour during summer. Lonely a bit, I suppose. Gives a man time for thinking. What do I think about? Ellen and the breakfast she'll have for me. Egg, bit of bacon, cup of tea, then some sleep. Ridiculous. Grown man sleeping in broad daylight when you come to think of it. Well, company coming. Seems to be traveling at quite a rate. Too fast even this time of night. Stop that car! Pull over here!
I know that car. Never saw him drive like that before. Well, I must say, sir, you're going rather fast. Oh, what's the idea, Constable? I'm in a hurry. Yes. Oh, it seems. Let me see your license. I know how to drive. Where'd you come from? Longridge Garage. It's a long way from here. Called out on an emergency. I said I'm in a hurry to get back now. And this car is yours?
Oh, it's mine.
Oh, another of you. In the back seat. Don't you keep that flashlight out of my eyes. What's the number of this car?
See for yourself. It's on the plate.
I know the number. Do you?
What is this, an investigation?
If you want it that way. What are you doing? He's dead, all right. I'm making sure. No dead man keeps my face in his eyes. Now he's got no eyes. Hurry! We gotta get out of here.
In the ditch where he'd fallen, bloody face turned skyward, policeman Constable Matthews didn't see the dawn. Later that morning, another man trudged along that Essex road, mail sack on shoulder, busy with his own thoughts, until...
Good. It's Matthews. Or what's left of him. Oh, what a rotten way to die. Here, I'll have to get help.
Help was very soon in coming. First the local police, then the wires to London hummed with the word.
Can you leave the body where it is?
I expect so, Inspector. He won't worry about it, poor fellow.
Very well. I'll be down from the yard as soon as I can get a car.
Inspector Manson and Sergeant Wright left Scotland Yard, careening out of the gates on two wheels, and roared out of London and into Essex. They set a record reaching the scene of the crime. The two policemen, quiet in their plain clothes, asked the local constable to move the crowd of curious well back from the body. Then the team from the yard went to work.
A rotten killing, Inspector.
Bad as I've seen. 4 bullets where one would have been enough.
It looks like a cop hater, Inspector.
Turned cop killer. Lift the head a moment.
Right, sir.
Oh, here they are. 2 slugs. 45. Went right through it.
Well, we never had a chance. The angle of the cheek wound, sir. From below and to the side.
Back seat of the car he stopped.
Tire marks, Inspector?
Right here. In the shoulder of the road. And deep enough for cast. Still holding his pencil. It's what we're all afraid of on traffic duty. What's your number and the shots. That's all.
I still don't get the eyes, Inspector.
Oh, story? Legend. When a criminal shoots a policeman, the criminal's image is supposed to be imprinted on the poor fellow's retinas. Just superstition. Let's go, Sergeant.
Just superstition, but perhaps a mark, a clue, pointing to the habitual criminal. The police routine began. The tire marks were taken up in plaster casts. The bullets were turned over to ballistics. The search, the almost blind search, began. In the course of their duty, Inspector Manson and Sergeant Wright dropped in on the superintendent of the local police.
Gee, the car's over my rounds. I can't afford to wait until the insurance company is satisfied, nor can my patients. I know you're busy, what with the murder and all that, but surely you can spare some time.
What? Oh, Inspector Manson, come in.
Sorry to intrude, sir, but the sergeant and I are about ready to go back to London.
I see. This is Dr. Lewis, our resident practitioner. Doctor, Inspector Manson, and Sergeant Wright, Scotland Yard.
How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Scotland Yard. About the murder of that poor policeman.
That's right, Doctor.
And the doctor's car's missing. I've been explaining to him how he'd been tied up on the killing.
Which, of course, I understand. But I need my car, gentlemen. I almost missed a berth last night. Came out of my house, expected to hop into my car. No car.
About what time was that, sir?
About 3 a.m. First time things like that's ever happened round here.
I see. Rather interesting coincidence.
Well, how's that, Inspector?
One of the familiar patterns in our work is to have a policeman attacked when he stops a stolen car.
Like a Lord Harry.
May I, Superintendent?
Of course.
Will you describe the car, Doctor?
Within minutes, Sergeant Wright was on the telephone.
All station alarm. Dark blue Morris sedan, number TW8529. Registered in the name of Dr. Robert...
Within 6 hours, it had been abandoned in a London suburb. Dr. Lewis was taken for the automobile ride of his life. Sirens screaming, tires squealing. No time to waste.
This your car, Doctor?
It certainly is.
Give it a going over, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Let's have a look inside, Doctor. Flashes on the outside of the door. Could be blood.
Yes, it might very well be.
Oh. You own a pistol, Doctor?
Good heavens, no. Why?
Cartridge case on the floor. Here. See it? 45 caliber. Notice anything missing?
Yes, my instrument bag. I left it on the back seat, as I usually do. Some quite valuable surgical equipment and all that. Hard to come by these days.
I understand. Yes, Sergeant?
Earth and dried grass, sir. Curbside wheels, front and back. Mudguard damaged on that side as well. And the tyres, sir, I'd not want to state positively until we've checked the casts, but they look the same as the marks on the road.
Ah, excellent, Sergeant.
Here's something may help. Inspector, Sergeant.
Yes, Doctor?
The speedometer. I keep a trip record every 24 hours. Just a habit. When I left the car last night, the speedometer read 40.9 miles. It's 84.3 now.
And the car has come 43.4 miles. That may be quite a help to us, Doctor. Perhaps more than you realize.
The first point which came to mind as the inspector and the sergeant drove back to Scotland Yard.
43 miles. Took a lot of back roads. Whoever it was must be known. No fingerprints in the car either.
Then next, as the car turned into the yard,
He must know Essex all the well. An angle worth working on.
a little while later, with a pile of dossiers on his desk, the inspector said,
What do you think of this one, Sergeant?
Thomas Green, also known as Greenie Thomas, and Ted Grenville. Convicted 1920, possession of firearms. Convicted fraud and forgery. Convicted car theft. So, known as operator garage in Eastwood, Essex. Alters stolen car.
Knows Essex, doesn't he?
He's a possibility, sir. Habitual. Fits the rest of the characteristics.
Shall we have Mr. Green in, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. Operator, hue and cry message to all stations. Photo for posting will follow shortly. Wanted for questioning, Tom Green, also known as Green.
so far, so good. Maybe they were on the right track. Maybe not. The alarm went out. Out to every station house and crossroads in England. Every policeman from the south coast to the border of Scotland was alerted for Mr. Thomas Green, also known as Greenie Thomas, and so forth. Result? Nothing. No, not a sign. Not a trace.
Here's something, Sergeant. Police in Lancashire picked up a fellow answering Green's description. He confessed to a burglary to prove he wasn't in Essex the night Matthews was shot.
I imagine they know we don't like cop killers.
No, they don't like cop killers. But they still had no trace of the suspect. None at all. For 7 long weeks.
Where you going?
Roadhog, you in the truck. Serves you right.
Yeah? Wanna make something of it?
Hey, what's going on here? I have to report this, you know.
This man forced me into the wall.
Is that correct, sir?
You're Green. There's an order out for you.
Sit back, driver, or you'll get it too.
Dirty rotten.
Get the number. Get the number of that car. I can't see.
I got it, lad. GR5607.
Well, today, as I told you, this receipt lies in its proper place. An honored place. In the Black Museum. Another policeman shot. Luckily not fatally. Another car number obtained. Immediate check, yes. A stolen car. A Vauxhall this time. Several times thereafter, in the course of 10 days, that number appeared on the Scotland Yard teletype.
Armed robbery. Cinema cashier. Lone thief seen leaving area in car number GR5607.
That's Green, all right. He's broken cover with a vengeance. Here it is again, Sergeant. Same number. This time he held up a railway station.
He's made another stop, sir. This time a bank messenger. Same car, same number, GR5607.
Inspector Manson here.
Sergeant Wright, sir. Report from Sheffield. They've got the Vauxhall Green was using. He sold it to a used car dealer. Man suspected of being a fence.
Meet me at the gate, Sergeant. We are going to Sheffield.
Constable Matthews was long gone, I know. Several weeks, in fact. But the wheels of vengeance for his unnecessary death ground on in Sheffield. Inspector Manson talked briefly and to the point.
Now get this straight. The man who sold you this car is wanted on suspicion of murder. Hold out on us and you'll be an accessory after the fact. We'll see to that.
That was I to know, Inspector. He had owner's papers. They looked all right. I paid him in good faith, I did.
David, you received stolen goods. Now then, what do you know about this man?
Nothing, sir, nothing.
Tell him, Sergeant.
You know plenty. We happen to have checked. You were associated with him in a garage business in Essex. Now talk.
I'm honest. I didn't know nothing. He told me he got the Vauxhall through a garage he's interested in Battersea. You can't pin anything.
Back to London. The chase seemed getting warmer. Outside the garage in Battersea, Inspector Manson and Sergeant Wright sat in their parked car and waited.
Car coming this way, sir. The light's in the rear-view mirror.
I see it, Sergeant. Patience, Sergeant. He's only turning in.
I caught his face in the light, sir. It's green, all right. Chauffeur's outfit.
Let's go. Take care.
He's left the car on the ramp, sir.
Yes. Probably going to change his clothes. Check the car, Sergeant. Side pocket of the door.
Right, sir. A Webley 45, Inspector.
A 45. Let's get him. Listen a moment. He's in there. Take care of the door, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
What's the meaning of this? What do you want?
You, Green.
Let go, copper. If I'd my gun...
Oh, thanks, sir. He almost had me.
Put the cuffs on him. We'll take the Webley and get him back to the yard. Hello? What's this on the workbench?
Medical case, sir. Initials on it, RL. For Robert Lewis, Inspector?
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's go, Sergeant, and you needn't be too gentle with him.
At long last, Tom Green, alias Greenie Thomas, was in custody. And a none too pleasant customer, this fellow.
Hey, when do I get something to eat, copper?
We'll get to that. You're in for questioning on a possible murder charge. I must warn you, anything you may say... Where were you on the night of October 26th last?
I was in London with my girl. What's more, she'll swear to it.
Where did you get the revolver we found in the pocket of the car?
I bought it from a sailor. Never got his name or number.
We found another Webley in the doctor's case, Green. Where did you get that?
I ain't talking.
The first one's been certified as the gun that killed Constable Matthews. That's the gun you said you bought from the sailor in September.
What? Oh, then I got them mixed up.
Oh.
Yeah, I must have bought the gun in the case from the sailor, and then when you say kill the copper, I picked up in November. So what? You got plenty of cops, haven't you, Inspector?
How are we coming on the check of Green's friends, Sergeant?
They're all accounted for and all with alibis, except this fella Davis. Yes, it's funny about him.
Yeah? What?
Well, he spent most of his life in stir. But the last time he got out, he upped and married. In Sheffield.
In Sheffield? And Green took that stolen Vauxhall to Sheffield? Let's bring Mr. Davis in, Sergeant. I'm rather interested in him.
Once again, the two police officers drove their car in the direction of Sheffield. Along the road, they stopped at a service station. 10 gallons of gasoline, and a look at the oil and water. They pay the attendant and ask for a receipt. Vouchers will have to be signed in the usual police routine.
Your receipt, Inspector. Tanks full, oil and water fine.
Thank you. Quite a receipt you hand out.
My partner's idea. He likes it.
Look at this, Sergeant. Stamped with a gallows, complete with corpse. And marked settled. Rather appropriate, eh?
It might have been more appropriate if they'd had more success in Sheffield.
Too late, Inspector.
Our bird flown?
Yes, sir. Left town the day before yesterday. The day we picked up Green.
I see. Well, we'll find him. I'm beginning to feel more like a tracer of missing persons than an officer on a murder case.
The familiar police machinery went back into action. The underworld was watched. The hue and cry message went to all stations. Within a few days this time, word came through.
Davis has been seen with his wife in Liverpool, sir.
All right, Sergeant. We'll travel.
In Liverpool, they found the hideout well watched. Davis wasn't there. His wife was at home. The place was a down-at-the-heels lodging house, disreputable, filthy. Inspector Manson made a decision.
We'll wait for him outside, Sergeant. I found that most men will put up a much harder struggle when their women are present.
So they waited. Waited in the dark, shabby street. Far off, they could hear the foghorns of the ships in Liverpool's busy roadstead.
Eerie noise they make, isn't it?
I don't mind it. Seems, friendly.
It depends, sir. Hey, someone just passed the 2nd Street lamp down that way, sir.
Don't show yourself. Wait until he passes under the next one. We can be sure then. That's our man. When he's closer, Sergeant.
Right, sir.
All right, Davis, please come quietly.
Would you stay away from me?
I said come quietly, Davis.
Cooper, why?
Look me and don't take me.
My wrist, you broke my wrist.
Never point a gun at a police officer, Davis. He'll come quietly now, Inspector.
They were quite a pair. Defiant, snarling Tom Green. Moaning, whining Davis. The inspector knew he had Green on the evidence, but the 2 bullets that had been fired from the back seat of the car were unexplained, except by the presence of a second man. Was Davis the man? How to prove it?
You haven't satisfied us, Davis. You've told us Green asked you to manage his garage.
That's right. I don't know nothing about October the 26th.
We think you do. Were you with Green that night?
I was with my wife.
And Green says he was with his girl. Did you shut up the garage?
No. Yes, I did. No business that night, anyway.
Yes, son?
A note for you, sir.
Thank you. I see. Thank you. All right, Davis. Green's talked.
There's nothing to talk about.
He says you pulled the trigger. He says he was already in gear, and Ridgway was going to let you go when you fired from the back seat.
The cop had his foot on the running board. I never did a thing.
Nice timing, Sergeant. I think you'd better talk, Davis. You're foraged in any case. Speak up, man.
What? Yeah. Sure, I was with Green that night. We picked a car to swipe down there in that Essex village. A doctor's car. We had to work fast. A dog started barking. We pushed the thing from in front of the house and got in. Greenie was driving. We'd have been fine, but that dumb cop had to stop us. He knew the car. Thought it was the doctor. But I didn't kill nobody. It was Greenie. All the way it was Greenie. I never killed nobody. Nobody. I tell you, I didn't kill nobody. Nobody.
All finished, Davis? Would you like to see the note Sergeant Wright handed me?
No, I don't want to look.
A receipt, Davis, for 10 gallons of petrol, stamped with a gallows and marked settled.
And today, as I told you, that receipt can be found in a place of special honor in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment.
There was no doubt, of course. From the angle of the wounds in Constable Matthews' face, it was clear that at least 2 bullets had been fired from the back seat of the stolen car. Davis's counsel tried to pin the blame on Green. Green's counsel tried to place it all on Davis. The jury found both men guilty, and both were sentenced to hang. Green tried to cheat the gallows, hiding a razor blade in his cell and cutting his wrists one night. But the guards discovered this in time, and the trap fell twice one morning. So the case of Constable Matthews was marked settled. And now, Until next time, till we meet again in the same place, and I tell you another story of the Black Museum, I remain as always, obediently yours.
The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. Where are we going? We're going to join Charles Foster as he takes an excursion into crime. I call the story The Case of Charles Foster. Late one evening several years ago, when I was practicing medicine in a large eastern city, I visited Charles Foster, a friend and patient of mine. I took with me Flush, a cocker spaniel he had entrusted to me.
Hello, Doctor. I'm glad you were able to come. I see you brought Flush. Hello, Flush, old boy.
He's missed you, Charles.
I've missed him, too, Doctor. Been quite lonesome without him these past few months. Down, boy. It's a good dog.
How do you feel, Charles?
Oh, I'm all right, Doctor. You needn't worry about me.
I'm glad to hear that.
I suppose you've been quite puzzled about everything that's happened these past months.
Frankly, Charles, I have. Even now, I find it difficult to believe that you could...
Doctor, I'm going to tell you something that I've never told anyone. I thought I'd go to the grave with my secret, but, you've always been friends, and I'd like you to know the truth.
As you wish, Charles.
It's strange how little people know of one another. For 10 years, Agatha and I were married, and to the outside world, we were a happily married couple, but in the privacy of our home, I found life with Agatha a nightmare.
I never would have guessed that.
For 10 years, I stood her sharp tongue and constant nagging. I might have gone on taking it the rest of my life. Fate hadn't decreed otherwise. It was 3 years ago on a beautiful spring evening that fate stepped in to change the entire course of my life.
Is that you, Charles?
Yes, Agatha.
Did you remember to buy me some more of my cough medicine?
Yes, here it is. Supper ready?
Some men would be more interested in their wives' health than their own suppers.
I'm sorry, Agatha, but you really don't look sick to me.
That's because you don't care. I'm not well, and you know it. I work myself to death day in and day out keeping this house clean, and little thanks do I get for it.
I've told you before, Agatha, if the house is too much for you, hire a maid.
And how exactly can we afford a maid on your miserable bookkeeper's salary?
Well, if you can't manage it out of my salary, there's always the $50,000 your father left you.
That money is mine, and I'm not spending a single cent of it. It's up to you to provide a maid.
All right, Agatha. Please, let's not quarrel. Oh, hello, Flush. How are you, old boy?
No, you care more about that dog than you do me.
You know that isn't true.
It is. Sometimes I think the only reason you come home is because of that dirty old dog.
Quiet.
Get away from me. All he does is eat and put his filthy paws on my furniture. I want you to get rid of that dog, Charles.
Get rid of him?
Yes. Buy some poison at the drugstore and dispose of him.
You can't stand to see me have anything that makes me happy, can you? Well, I'm not getting rid of him.
Charles, this is my house, not yours. And I don't want him here.
Come on, Flush.
Don't think that by walking away that ends the matter, Charles Foster. You'd better get rid of that dog, do you hear?
Glad to get out of the house, eh, old boy? So am I. It's a beautiful evening, isn't it? Come on, boy. We're going to take a long walk. You want to turn around and go home now, Flush? No, neither do I.
Pardon me, but aren't you Charles?
Julia Sanders.
Charles, I thought it was you.
Oh, let me look at you. Oh, Julia, you haven't changed a bit. You're as lovely as... How long has it been since we last saw each other?
10 years, almost 11.
Has it really been that long? Julia, have you ever forgiven me for what happened?
Of course, Charles.
I was so insanely in love with you, Julia, that I couldn't bear to have other men look at you. You know that I didn't mean...
I know, Charles.
I've thought of that night constantly. It's been like a nightmare ever since.
Please, Charles, it's all past and forgotten now.
You were perfectly justified in breaking our engagement. After what I'd done, there was nothing else you could do.
I understand you married Agatha Winthrop a year after I'd gone abroad.
Yes, Julia. After you left for Europe, people kept telling me what a wonderful wife Agatha would make. I allowed myself to be convinced and married her.
Well, I'm sure everything turned out for the best.
No, but it didn't, Julia. Almost from the beginning, our marriage was a failure. For these past 5 years, Agatha and I have merely been living together under the same roof.
Well, I'm sorry, Charles, that it didn't turn out well.
Nothing turned out well, Julia, after I lost you. I hope things have been better with you these past 11 years.
Oh, I can't complain. I spent a number of years in Paris studying art and working at dress designing.
Oh.
I only came back a few months ago.
You've never married?
No. I'm working now for Morgan's department store as their art director.
Oh, really? Well, my office is only a few blocks from there. Look, Julia, why don't we have lunch together tomorrow? There are so many things I'd like to know.
Well, I'd like to, Charles, but I think it would be much better that we don't.
Oh, now, surely, Julia, there's no harm in two old friends having lunch together, is there?
No, I suppose not.
I won't take no for an answer. Do you know where Drake's restaurant is?
Yes.
Will 1 o'clock tomorrow be all right?
Yes, that's my usual lunch hour.
Good, then it's a date. Strange, isn't it, Doctor? The way after 11 years, Julia and I bumped into each other. If we hadn't, what followed would never have happened.
It's such small things as an accidental meeting that often change the course of one's life.
Yes, I know that now, but I didn't then. I met Julia for lunch the next day, and soon we were having lunch together every day. And for the first time in years, life began to mean something. Merely seeing Julia for 1 hour a day made life worth living.
I understand, sir.
We'd have lunch together, and then we'd go for a walk in the park. I sensed at the time that Julia, too, was lonely and in the need of friendship. The summer passed swiftly and happily. I should have realized that things couldn't go on that way, but I didn't.
You mean you fell in love with Julia?
Fell in love with her? I don't think I'd ever really stopped loving her. I became aware of how much I really cared for her one warm autumn day as we were walking through the park together. Julia.
Yes, Charles?
What about going to the theater with me tonight?
Oh, I wish you hadn't asked me, Charles.
Why?
Because it means we can't go on seeing each other anymore.
But why shouldn't we go on seeing each other?
Because you aren't satisfied any longer just to see me at lunch, and it isn't right for us to go out together at night.
But surely there's no harm in our going to the theater together.
You're married, Charles. That's reason enough.
All right, Julia. Forget I ever asked you. But at least we can go on having lunch together, can't we?
No, Charles.
Oh, but...
Can't you see? Things can never be the way they were. We've become dependent upon each other, and we have no right to be. We can't go on seeing each other any longer. It isn't fair to Agatha.
But you know that Agatha and I mean nothing to each other. We haven't for years.
Nevertheless, she's your wife.
Julia, you know I love you. I've always loved you, and I can't do without you.
Charles, you're just making it difficult for both of us.
Julia, you do love me, don't you?
Yes. But can't you see, it's no use. I remember Agatha only too well. She'd never give you a divorce.
I know she won't. I've asked her a dozen times in the past 5 years, but she said she'll never give me one.
I want to part now, Charles. Right here.
Must we?
Yes. Goodbye, Charles.
My life seemed to end that day, Doctor, with our parting. I went through the motions of living, but nothing seemed to matter any longer.
I can well understand that.
Months went by. Every day after work, I stayed in town, unable to face an evening at home with Agatha. When I did arrive home late at night, she'd be waiting for me.
Is that you, Charles?
Yes, Agatha. Sorry if I woke you.
Now, lot you care. Coming in night after night at all hours, leaving me alone in this big house. Oh, don't think I don't know what you're up to. I know you're kind, Charles Foster.
You better go to sleep, Agatha.
A fine chance I have to sleep with you putting on the bathroom light. You know I can't sleep when that light's on.
Take me a minute to brush my teeth, then I'll turn off the light. Agatha.
Well, what is it now?
What's this bottle of prussic acid doing in the medicine chest? That's a deadly poison.
I know that. I got it from Mrs. Smedley, the druggist's wife. She used it to get rid of an old cat they had. When I told her about Flush, she said it was a thing...
What's that about Flush?
I said Mrs. Smedley gave me that bottle of prussic acid so I could get rid of Flush. I'm going to put him out of his misery tomorrow.
You'll do no such thing, do you hear? If you so much as lay a hand on Flush, I'll kill you. I'll kill you, do you understand?
Yes, Charles.
You get rid of that poison tomorrow. Let's have no more talk of putting Flush out of his misery. I lay awake for hours, Doctor, unable to fall asleep. Julia's breaking off with me and my wife's refusal to give me a divorce. And the prussic acid she meant to poison Flush with had left me all worked up. Then Agatha began coughing. That cough she'd cultivated for years to give people the impression that she was an invalid. Well, after she'd coughed her usual 5 minutes or so, she got out of bed and started for the bathroom where she kept her cough medicine.
Oh, that's that chair.
Why don't you turn on the light so you can see where you're going?
I can see perfectly well where I'm going. Besides, on your salary, we can't afford to waste electricity.
I knew there wasn't any use in saying anything more. For years, Agatha had gotten up every night and groped her way to the medicine chest where her cough medicine was. Nothing could make her change her habits. I lay in bed listening as she opened the medicine chest and fumbled in the corner where she always kept the bottle. As I heard her groping for her medicine, I suddenly thought of the bottle that was standing next to it. The bottle of prussic acid. Without thinking, it came to mind. If only she'd take the prussic acid instead of the cough medicine. If she did, I would be free. Free of her constant nagging and whining. Free to see Julia. Then I knew it was useless to hope for such a mistake to happen. Agatha's cough medicine always stood in the same corner of the medicine chest. Even in the dark, she'd never take the bottle of prussic acid. And then it came to me. What if the bottles were to be switched? What if the following night the prussic acid were placed in the customary spot of the cough medicine? Suddenly it was all very clear to me what I was going to do. Agatha?
Well?
Agatha, I've been thinking over what you said about Flush.
What?
I suppose you're right. Flush should be disposed of.
He certainly should. He's old and he's smelly. It'll be a blessing for him to be put out of his misery.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry I shouted at you before, Agatha, but... Well, I see now that you're right.
When are you going to do it?
Oh, we'll wait until Saturday.
And none too soon, either.
You're sure the prussic acid won't make him suffer?
Nonsense. Of course it won't. Mrs. Smedley said nothing works faster than prussic acid.
Oh, you told her what it was for. That's fine. Very well, Agatha. Just leave everything to me. The next night, Doctor, after Agatha was in bed, I quietly strolled into the bathroom and opened the medicine chest. I compared the bottle of cough medicine with that of the prussic acid. They were both small bottles, almost identical in size. I removed the cough medicine from where it stood in the corner of the chest and replaced it with the poison. Then I went to bed and waited impatiently for Agatha to start coughing. Can I get you a glass of water or something, Agatha?
Water won't do any good. What I need is my cough medicine. Oh, that's that chair.
Why don't you turn on the light?
Because I can see perfectly in the dark. Besides, someone's got to economize on the electricity in this house.
I lay there in the darkness, listening to her grumble as she opened the door of the medicine chest. The blood pounded in my ears as I heard her fumbling for the bottle. Would she feel the slight difference in the bottle when she picked it up? Scarcely able to breathe, I waited. Listen. And she fell to the floor. I quickly got out of bed, turned on the lights, and went into the bathroom. She was lying on the floor, quite dead. There was an agonized look on her face. I returned the bottle of cough medicine to its proper place, and then I phoned the police.
Now, you say, Mr. Foster, that your wife was in the habit of going every night to the medicine chest for a few drops of her cough medicine.
Yes, that's right.
And she never turned on the lights when she went to the medicine chest.
Oh, no, sir.
Wasn't that a bit unusual?
Well, I always used to tell her to turn on the lights, but she said it was a waste of electricity.
I see. And you say your wife, it was her who placed the bottle of prussic acid in the medicine chest next to her cough medicine, eh?
Yes, sir. I'd never touched the bottle of prussic acid. You see, it was my wife who procured it, and she...
Yes, Mr. Smedley, the druggist, has testified that his wife gave it to your wife. Mr. Foster, are you familiar with the contents of your wife's will dated 10 years ago?
Yes, I am.
Then you know, of course, that your wife left her entire estate to the Home for the Aged.
Home for the Aged? Oh, yes. I fought to keep my face expressionless, to prevent him from learning that I hadn't known. All the years we'd been married, Agatha had given me to understand that all her money would go to me. Now I knew that she'd been lying. Her will had been made out in favor of the Home for the Aged for years. I began to feel angry at the way she'd cheated me. But a moment later, I was grateful that she had.
Frankly, Mr. Foster, your wife's death occurred under very suspicious circumstances, to say the least. For years, she'd gone to the medicine chest every night without mishap. And yet, on the second night that there was a bottle of prussic acid in the chest, she met her death. Were it not for the fact that your wife had left her entire estate to the Home for the Aged, I might be inclined to go further with this investigation. As it is, I'll instruct the coroner's jury to bring in a verdict of death through accident. That's all, Mr. Foster.
I walked out of the district attorney's office a free man. A few days later, I moved out of the house which had been Agatha's and took up quarters elsewhere. 6 long and uneventful months passed. I made no effort to contact Julia for fear that the police might still have their suspicions, and then I could stand it no longer. I called on her.
Charles, when I was told you were waiting to see me, I could hardly believe it. I'm so glad to see you again.
Thank you, Julia. It's good to see you again, too.
Charles, you don't look well at all.
These past few months have been something of a strain, Julia, but I'm all right now.
I was tempted so many times to get in touch with you. Then I thought perhaps you didn't want to see anyone.
Well, I did want to see you, Julia, but I was afraid it wouldn't look right.
I understand, Charles.
Now, let's not say anything more of the past. Only the present and the future. Julia, do you think we might try to pick up where we left off last autumn?
We can try, Charles.
Julia and I, Doctor, began to see each other night after night. Life for me became exciting and wonderful the way it had been 11 years ago before Julia and I had broken our engagement.
Didn't you ever stop to think of what you'd done?
You mean Agatha?
Yes.
No, Doctor. They say that a murderer is ever haunted by his crime. But that isn't true. At least it wasn't in my case. To me, Agatha was part of another life in the dim past. I rarely thought of the past, only the present and the future. No, if I had any fears at all, it was the fear that something would spoil the happiness that Julia and I had found together. But nothing did. And a few months later, we were married, with you as my best man.
Yes, I remember.
And my second marriage was everything that my first hadn't been. For the first time in my life, I knew what true happiness meant. Julia and I were poor, but that didn't matter, for we had each other. The months swiftly passed. And as our first anniversary approached, it was hard to believe that we'd been married almost a year.
Charles, before you leave for work, will you sign a check for me?
Oh, who's it for, dear?
Never you mind, Mr. Foster. You just leave a signed check. I'll fill in the amount and the party it's meant for.
Mrs. Foster, you're acting very mysterious.
Well, a wife has a right to act mysterious once a year.
Darling, I suspect you're going to use this check to buy me an anniversary present. Well, whatever you get me, please don't make it neckties.
Well, I'll have you know I have very good taste in neckties.
I know you do, dear, but I have to wear them.
You're an ungrateful wretch. Very well, I won't get you tied.
Good, then I'll sign the check for you. And please bear in mind that you can't make this check out for more than $312.50. That's all we have in the bank.
Oh, I'll leave you at least the 50 cents.
You'd better leave a good deal more. We won't be going up to Lake Ellis.
Charles, are we going up to Lake Ellis?
Oh, it slipped out. And I meant it as an anniversary surprise.
Oh, Charles, that's wonderful. When are we going?
This Friday afternoon. I've rented a cabin and a small motorboat on Lake Ellis for the weekend.
Oh, darling, what an exciting surprise. Charles, you're sure it won't be too expensive?
Why, nothing can be too expensive for our first anniversary.
Oh, darling, I've never been so happy.
This looks like a nice place to fish. Let's see, where'd I put that bait?
Here it is, dear.
Thanks, darling. Uh-huh. Here's a nice, fat, dimpled worm. Well, if you can't stand to see me bait him, just turn the other way. That's it. It'll only take me a minute.
Charles, look.
Let's see if I get this.
There's smoke coming out of the engine hatch.
What's that? Yes, you're right.
It's on fire. There are flames shooting out.
Fire extinguishers at the other end of the boat.
Charles, you'd never make it. You'd be burned.
Yes, you're right. Besides, even the extinguisher wouldn't do much good now. The fire's too big.
What are we going to do? Oh, the heat is becoming unbearable.
There's only one thing we can do, Julia. That's go over the side.
We're almost in the center of the lake. I can't swim.
But I can, dear. I'll manage to keep us above water somehow.
Well, all right, darling. I'll do whatever you say.
We'll come through this, Julia. Now, don't be afraid. Now, I'll slip over the side of the boat first, and you follow.
All right.
Now, hurry, Julia. Let yourself down into the water. I'll keep you afloat.
Yes, Charles.
That's it. Now, let go of the side of the boat. I have you.
Yes, Charles.
Now, don't be afraid, darling. You see? It's no trouble keeping you above water. Now, just relax, dear, while I swim with you a bit. We've got to get a good distance from the boat. It may explode.
Yes, Charles. Do you see any boats, Rob?
No, but someone's bound to see the fire and come to our rescue. Until they do, we must have courage.
You're tired, aren't you, Charles?
No, don't worry, dear. I can keep us afloat for a long time yet.
Oh, why doesn't someone come to our rescue?
They will. Someone must surely have seen that boat burning.
But Charles, we've been in the water so long.
Oh, it just seems long, darling. It can't be more than 10 minutes.
10 minutes? It feels more like... Charles!
I've got you, Julia. Just for a moment, you slipped away from me.
Oh, darling, it's no use. I'm just a millstone around your neck.
What are you saying?
Why should we both drown? Charles, save yourself.
Save myself?
Yes. I want you to let go of me.
Let go of you? No, never.
Yes, you must. You're too tired to keep me.
No, darling. Either we're both saved or we're both drowned.
No, I won't have you throw your life away. Let go of me.
Julia, stop trying to break loose. Julia, darling, don't. I can't live without you. Julia, stop struggling. Julia! She's gone. I will save her. Help, my wife. My wife.
Yeah, we saw it all. Hey, Mike, he's passed out. Get him before he goes under.
I got him. Here, help me get him aboard, Skipper.
All right. Any sign of his wife?
She's gone, Skipper.
Yeah, too bad. Well, if it's the last thing I do, I aim to see justice done to this fella. She never had a chance. You see him shove her under? It was murder, that's what it was.
Now, Mr. Foster, both of the men who rescued you claim that as they approached you and your late wife in their boat, they saw you struggling with her. You admit this?
Yes. Yes, but I tell you, I was trying to save her, not drown her.
No, you were trying to save her. But both the witnesses testified they saw you push her head under.
But they're wrong. I wasn't pushing her under. I was trying to bring her to the surface. You must believe me.
Oh, Mr. Foster. You maintain that you were rescuing your wife, not drowning her.
Yes.
Is it true, Mr. Foster, that you were engaged to your wife 11 years ago and that she broke the engagement?
Yes, that's true.
Would you mind telling the jury why she broke the engagement?
We had a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding? Do you call shooting the woman you're engaged to just a misunderstanding?
No. You must let me explain. It's true that 11 years ago I did shoot Julia, but I've been drinking. I didn't know what I was
doing. Mr. Foster, you do admit shooting and wounding her?
Yes.
Have you ever seen this before?
Why, yes. That's the insurance policy I took out for Julia and myself.
Exactly. And when was this policy taken out?
Well, about a month ago.
June 15th, to be exact. And what's the value of this policy, Mr. Foster?
Well, if either my wife or myself died, it provided $10,000 for the survivor.
Yes, Mr. Foster. If either you or your wife died a natural death, it provided $10,000 to the survivor. But there's also a double indemnity clause in this policy, isn't there?
Yes, but
One that provides you with $20,000 if your wife died an accidental death, such as drowning.
That's true, but I swear I didn't drown my wife. I tell you, I was trying to save her, not drown her. You must believe me. You must. That, Doctor, is exactly the way everything happened. Strange, isn't it? The way justice works itself out. I committed murder and escaped punishment. Now I'm paying with my life for the death of the one person I really loved.
It's time to go, Foster.
All right, Warden. Goodbye, Doctor. And take good care of Flush, will you?
Of course, Charles. Goodbye.
All right, Warden. I'm ready. Let's go.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our little trip? Too bad about Charles Foster, wasn't it? As he was strapped into the electric chair, there was an ironic smile on his lips. For he was being executed for something he had not done. But as Charles himself said, justice has a strange way of working itself out. I knew another man once who thought it would be a simple thing to dispose of his wife. Unfortunately, he... Oh, you're getting off here? I'm sorry. But perhaps we'll meet again soon. I take this same train every week at this time.
You have just heard Chapter 64 of The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and the terrifying. In tonight's story, the case of Charles Foster, Humphrey Davis played Charles Foster, Nancy Sheridan played Julia, and Joan Shea played Agatha. The Mysterious Traveler is written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, and original music is played by Henry Silverne. The entire production is under the direction of Jock McGregor. Listen next week to a tale titled
Blood Money.
Another tale of the Mysterious Traveler. The Mysterious Traveler is presented by WOR Mutual from the WOR Studios in New York. This is Mutual.
Dr. Weir.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Why, what's the matter? Your hand is shaking. Surely you're not afraid of me. Perhaps it would steady you to hear a little story that was just told to me. The story of a strange ship that sails the seven seas with no crew save death, and no passengers except the dead. I call the story The Ghost Ship. My story, The Ghost Ship, begins in a badly battered lifeboat, pitching and tossing on the surface of the South Atlantic. 3 men wearily bail out the water which the breaking waves constantly pour into the boat. A 4th man, burly and broad-shouldered, is at the tiller.
All right, bailer, men, bailer. The water's getting on us.
What's the use of bailing? We'll never make land. Why don't we admit we're done for and get it over with?
Slow that, bosun. We may sight a ship any minute.
You've been saying that every day for a week now.
Captain! Yeah, what is it, Cook?
They think it's a ship. You know it's here. They're to port.
All right, look sharp, men.
Oh, I don't see anything. Just another false alarm.
No, it's not. Captain, I see her. It's a small steamer heading this way.
Yeah, I can make her out now. She's heading straight for us.
It's a ship, all right. But she looks mighty funny. Look how low she is in the water. See the way she steers.
She does kind of stagger back and forth. Maybe her steering gear broke.
And there's no smoke from her funnels either. If you ask me, she's a derelict.
Well, maybe she is. Even a derelict is better than this lifeboat. The wind's carrying across our course. And we're going to board her.
Half an hour later, the lifeboat rubbed against the side of the strange ship. The 4 hungry, weary men clambered aboard her and found themselves greeted only by the uncanny silence of a deserted ship.
See? What did I tell you? This is a derelict, a blooming derelict.
Yeah, she's a derelict, all right. Look at her ironwork, covered with rust. I'd say she's been drifting about for a good many months.
Suppose there be no grub or water aboard her, that's what worries me.
Now, that's what we're going to find out right now. Cook and I will search the starboard side of the ship. You other two search the port side. Look lively now. We'll meet the chart room in 30 minutes. All right, Bosun, what did you find?
We didn't find nothing. Not a single solitary thing.
That's all right, Captain. Of course, we're so low in the water that all the holes in the cabins below deck are half flooded. But we searched everything else, and we didn't find a thing.
Well, Cook and I had better luck. We found the galley dry and plenty of canned grub in it. I left Cook rustling up some chow. He'll be bringing us a hot meal any minute now.
Hot food, doggone. That's what I was wanting to hear.
What I want to know is why was this freighter abandoned? Yes, it's...
What?
Why, this is the Mermaid Girl.
What?
Yes, there's her name on the logbook. She's a ghost ship. Do you hear me? We come aboard a ghost ship. We got to get off her or we'll die.
Bosun, get hold of yourself, will you?
It's true. This is a Mermaid Girl, and every seaman in the world knows about it.
Well, sir, I don't. Captain, what is this here Mermaid Girl business?
Well, the story of the Mermaid Girl is a curious one. 2 years ago, she had her helm stove in a hurricane, but she's loaded with lumber and cork, which is why she never sunk. Well, the first night out after the storm, one of the crew disappeared.
The next night, 2 more men went, and 2 more the night after.
I'm telling this, Bosun.
It's true, every word of it.
It's true the men disappeared. Rest of the crew mutinied and abandoned ship. Only one lifeboat with 5 men in it ever made port. They're the ones who spread the story.
And ever since then, the Mermaid Girl's been drifting. A ghost ship with death at the helm. Oh, I tell you, we've got to get off it, or we'll die, too.
That's the cook.
Quick, outside. Something's happened to him.
Captain, look. There on the deck, a tray. Dishes and food. Cook was bringing us grub. And now he's vanished.
Say, Doctor, do you know you've been on the air for 25 weeks now? Evidently, people like your radio show.
Well, that makes me very happy. And I thank them from the bottom of my cold-blooded heart.
Coming from you, Doctor, that's really warm sentiment.
And while we're about it, the makers of Atom hats would like to thank the many men who have recognized the superiority of Atom hats this season. Gentlemen, you've been keeping our thousands of stores and authorized dealers mighty busy. And no wonder. Wide varieties in 100% correct styles, combined with finest quality materials and craftsmanship, make Atom hats America's outstanding hat value. The well-dressed man particularly appreciates the wide choice of shapes and shades available at their Atom hat store. Tomorrow, step into the Atom hat store nearest you and ask to see the new line of Atom hats, priced sensibly from $3.45 to $10. Now, Dr. Weird, on with the show.
And now to continue my story, The Ghost Ship. It is night, and in the inky darkness, half submerged, the derelict steamship Mermaid Girl drifts onward across the wave-tossed surface of the South Atlantic. Huddled in the chart room with 2 flickering lanterns for light, the 3 shipwreck survivors discuss the strange disappearance of the cook, the 4th member of their group.
I tell you, the spook got him. Or the devil, or whatever it is that's put a curse on this ship.
It takes more than a spook to make a grown man vanish without a trace, bosun.
The sea's different from the land. There's devils that haunt the ocean no landlubber can know about. You've heard of the Flying Dutchman, haven't you, Dick?
Reckon I have. What about it?
For 100 years or more, manned by phantoms, she's been sailing the 7 seas, full rigged and always running with a storm dead astern. The devils of the sea put a curse on her. And so the Flying Dutchman will sail on forever.
The Flying Dutchman is just a sailor's superstition, bosun. You know it.
And I suppose this ship we're on now is just a superstition, too. And the fact that she's been drifting for 2 years with no end at her helm, I tell you, we got to get off her, or else we'll die.
We can't get off her. Our lifeboat shrunk when we came aboard. So stow that kind of talk, bosun.
That's what I say, too. I don't believe in spooks or devils. Fact is, I got me a notion to go down to the galley right now and rustle up some grub.
You want the same thing that happened to the cook to happen to you?
Oh, nothing happened to me. Captain, you got an extra revolver in your pocket?
Yeah.
Well, now, just you let me take it and I'll face anything to get me some grub. Well, it's 3 days since we had food, and I'm too hungry to wait for morning.
All right, here's the extra gun. It has 3 shells in it. And take this lantern, but look sharp.
I'll do that, Captain. And I'll bring back whatever I can carry.
Good.
And if I meet any spooks, I'll bring them back, too.
You shouldn't have let him go, Captain.
He'll be all right with a light and a gun. We do need food.
You'll see, Captain, this ship's a ghost ship. And listen.
Come on, we gotta go to his...
No, Captain, it's too late. It's got him, whatever it is that's haunting this ship. And if we got out there now, it'll get us, too.
All night, the 2 men huddled in the chart room, the doors bolted, the memory of Texas screams ringing in their ears. In the morning, with a fog covering the sea, they cautiously emerged and searched the ship, the captain keeping his revolver always ready. And they found...
Nothing. That's what we found, Captain. Nothing but a smashed lantern and the empty gun line on the deck where Tex has dropped them.
Well, frankly, I think Tex and the cook went out of their heads and jumped overboard. There's absolutely nothing on this ship that could have harmed them.
But there is. Only it's something you can't see unless it wants you to see it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Bosun, listen to me. I tell you...
Wait.
What is it? Listen. What is it, John? It's a foghorn. There's a steamship someplace in the fog, off the starboard of us. Get in this way.
But you'll never see us. Look how fast the fog's thickening.
Yeah, we gotta work fast. There's a hand-operated foghorn up in the bow of this vessel. Get up forward and start sounding it. I'll hunt for distress rockets. We've got to attract attention before that ship gets too far away.
Aye, sir. I'll signal at SOS with the arm.
Good man. Oh, she's passing astern of us. Blast this fog. If it hadn't taken up so fast, we'd have been sighted.
Captain!
Yeah, what is it, Bosun?
Captain, he's got me! He's taking me on the old cabin! Help! Help!
I'm coming, Bosun! Bosun, where are you?
Captain! Down here! In the hole! Help me!
In the hole? Bosun, what's happened?
Captain, it's an octopus!
What?
A giant giant octopus. It got me down here in the old. A tentacle caught me. You almost pulled me in.
An octopus, so that's it. That's the devil that's been haunting this ship. I can see it, bosun. Just under the water. I'm going to try and shoot it. All right, devil, take that. And that. And that. My gun's empty. I've got a tentacle. A tentacles around my legs. I can't get loose. It's pulling me down into the hole, too. If I can only... I can't. Help!
No wonder the shipwrecked sailors who boarded the mermaid girl could find nothing. The devil who haunted her was an underwater devil whose presence they couldn't guess. And so the mermaid girl still drifts on across the seven seas, with death in the shape of a giant octopus, her captain, and dead men, her only crew. Perhaps someday... Oh, you have to go now. I do hope you'll drop in again soon. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weir.